Popular
17 on a
demand.
Sunday. Yeah, by
Popular demand.
Indeed.
2.5 people asked for this. What is this?
I've been avoiding
Literally the last recording here.
It's the last podcast here. I booked a solo session for tomorrow and a band video session on Wednesday. It's the last podcast ever, though. I mean, 10 years of podcast. So
You should have lied.
10 years of podcasting.
Should have lied.
You should. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, nobody had to know that, to be honest with you. We can start over.
Take two.
Take two. Last recording ever.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
This is your show.
Yeah,
no,
you
but
tell us.
you wanted me.
Get out of here.
He did.
He pulls out the note.
I think Matt
You know,
did.
you really should have had a notebook.
Matt has been asking for a long time for this type of podcast, and I think we talked about it before.
I do. Okay, I have a warm up question.
You have a warm up.
All right. Did Grandma?
Music
Wait, hold on.
presents.
Before we go into that, nobody knows what you're probably about to ask. You said grandma notice, so let's lay out who we are and what's going on right now. By the way, did grandma approve that? What?
You'll see.
For those listening, Matt Bauer, who is my cousin, he and I have been doing podcasts and sessions and DZ Fest and everything you could think of in our own capacity for the last 10 years. And he's been my cousin for, my 32 years. He's older than I. I won't give his age away. And this is my childhood home. So he was going to bring up our grandma from his dad, my mom. And then to my other side is Eddie, who also has been essentially my cousin, give or take. Oldest friend, longest friend, grew up 3 houses down, and has also known Matt for quite some time, probably at least 20 years, about maybe more. So maybe longer.
As far as
actually.
I can remember.
And for something like DZ Fest, I don't know how, but they kind of grew into, assumed the role.
Forced it?
Forced. What happened? Okay, so Eddie,
The role.
who is, again, the friend, not the cousin, he was manager D, and Matt, my cousin, was manager Z. And I'll let you guys explain what you guys did, because I was too busy to notice, but you guys were doing stuff the whole time.
What's on Manager D's job description?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know. Man, don't ask me that kind of a question.
I think I know the answer. I think the answer is
What's on?
so that
Jeez.
Ben, the sound tent, the film crew, the front door,
Yeah.
so like no one notices anything ever happened, good or bad. Like it just
Make everyone else's lives easier,
yes,
right?
You guys just make everyone else. You make 1,000 people's lives easier, literally.
That's a very kind way of putting it, for sure.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Garbage man.
Yeah, primarily.
Well, I mean, when it first started, it was whatever, it's chaos, but it was smaller. It's scaled.
When did Manager D&Z start? What year was it?
I think it was
2016?
The first
No,
year of
it was
those
14. I think it was 14. I think it was a joke, 2013, 12 and 13, just because.
Wait, it's not a joke?
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
I said we're joking.
I think what happened. So the first year there was no rules of any kind of
No.
at all. It was like let's just have this like thing
Yeah.
that was borderline just a massive party that I called DZ Fest. I took it as a fest, but like I don't think many people
was a
did.
party.
Would it have been the first year? Because I remember you having a like a spreadsheet
Yeah.
of people doing stuff at certain times.
That was 2014.
So I wonder
Yeah,
if it was
2013
then.
had a little bit of it because I knew I had to get more organized to like make it happen, but there wasn't really like distinctive roles. Yeah, I was like trying to figure out
2014,
everything.
That was DZ Fest 3.
Yes, DZ Fest 3
Rain
was
out season.
It was when
Rain out year.
It was when when Trevor came, so he started doing the
Right,
sound.
right.
That was
Ben and-
Trevor's first.
Trevor's first. Okay.
Wow, he's been going that long.
Man,
8
I always.
years.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay.
Wow.
We did Manager D&Z then, huh? I always thought it was 2015. DZ
I
Fest
think
4.
we
That's when I-
officially did like that's because we had 2 stages, so you guys had kind of distinctive areas
Right.
to stick to.
2014
yeah.
was the first year with 2 stages.
No,
No,
2015.
2015.
Oh,
That's why I
15,
think
okay.
that's when Manager D&Z really started.
Yeah, I think
and that's
it was.
like, I always say that's when DZ Fest like started its apex.
It's Apex.
Apex Mountain.
Yeah.
But you,
It stayed there for a few years.
How did you guys become those things? I have my own answer, but I want to hear what your thoughts are.
You want to go first?
Oh, I didn't want to just sit behind a desk or behind a table all day, or I didn't want to sit out front all day, or I didn't want to like sell merch all day. So I was like, yeah, I'll be a manager. You know, like we could roam.
Yeah.
You know, if you're sitting there for an hour selling merch, well, you're sitting there for an hour selling merch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted the freedom. So selfishly, you know, like I'll be a manager.
Yeah.
See, I don't
And
know
then-
what that means, but I'll
and
figure it out.
Yeah.
and
You know,
throw
how
some
big Ben will
garbage
trust
around.
me.
Yeah, venture. Yeah,
I've known
Well,
Ben
I-
for 30 years.
But I do think though that was part of it too, of just like having someone where like if I ask them to do something, they'll do it. Yeah, there'll be some dumb joke in between. But if Matt, hey Ed, can you go check on that? Go run that. Go do. We'll do it for
Yeah,
the most part.
yeah.
You know, we'll definitely do it.
Mhm.
Not to say nobody else would, but
Yeah.
right.
From my perspective, it's just like an extension of kind of like what we've done our whole lives, like even as children.
Yes.
You
So
know?
that's why that's
You're
what I
always
was going to
you
say.
were always the one who had the ideas. Like you're the idea man, you know. And I'm just
brain.
along for the ride. I'm like, all right, let's do it. I don't have an idea. So,
Ever in general, none. No, it's funny.
true though.
No,
you know, we're
it's-
building things, and you know,
It's funny you say that because
whatever
I've
you
thought
wanna
about
call
that
it.
recently. Actually, when I've been asked recently, like, "Oh, when did like these types of things start?" And I was like, honestly, I always just remember being like, "We're bored and it's February," and I'm like, "Hey, let's go like build something out there."
Yeah.
And you know,
Eddie, I got an idea.
yeah, exactly. And it might have been like your brother, my brother, someone else, but I was always trying to like get us
Five
to
worst
do
words in
something,
the
you
English
know.
language. Eddie, I got an idea. You know you're in for it. You know you're in for it. There's one idea. Lasted 10
that's
years of
so
work.
funny.
10 years of work from one
10
idea.
years of hard labor. Oh,
It's been
that's
hard
so
labor.
funny.
Yeah.
For sure.
That is great. Well,
So
can I?
that's definitely though where my
Well, yeah,
how
so
I think of
I think
how I came into that, right?
It's exactly
was
how you
just-
both did. There's two things. You naturally were already here, always doing stuff with me and us together in some capacity for years. So we already had that like ability to work, to know when to joke and like, get stuff done. To be honest, from my perspective and my experience, out of everybody I know, I'd say you two are the top 5. Like, I'm talking to everyone I've ever met in my life. Top 5, like, trustworthy. I will get stuff done if someone needs me to. I will do it.
Are we on the Mount Rushmore?
Oh yeah. Well, it's 5.
Yeah,
There's
that's
only
what I want to
4.
know. Are
So-
we? Are one of us left out of the
yeah,
problem?
who's left out? You include yourself in that?
You can't
Like,
include yourself.
Well, all right.
But,
who's
like-
Abe Lincoln?
You are, Matt. You're honest.
All right. Who's
Eddie's
who's
Roosevelt.
George?
He's Teddy.
Oh,
I got Teddy
Eddie's
over here.
nah.
Theodore, his middle name. It
it's-
works.
Oh.
So I think it's that, and then also you guys kind of like by 2013, 14, 15, you guys knew everybody. Like you knew the friends. Like you knew everyone more than someone else in that group knew the next people because you were here the most. Like you were here so much that you actually did know all the friends.
Right.
Anybody who was volunteering, you knew them. You know my yard well. You know my house well. I've known you guys so long that you get to a point where, like, these people are not gonna like dick me over. You're not gonna like screw me over. I can trust Eddie with money. I can trust you guys with secrets and like personal things that help grow the fest that people shouldn't know, can't know, for the better good of the whole system. You know, things like that. What's so funny?
The wheels are turning. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you guys also took to it well. You're around for a lot of the behind the, you like know the stuff, the podcast, the video sessions, the intimate evenings, my family, the neighbors. Like the neighbors also know Eddie. Like these things are important. And then when you're also family, like a cousin, it's also an easy thing to rely on.
What can you remember the earliest DZ Fest seed? Like what? Like
I can.
all right,
It was in October 2007.
2007.
Yeah. I just went to Lollapalooza in
Okay.
August. And that got the
And you
seed
said
going.
I could do this. You saw Lollapalooza.
I saw Daft Punk.
and said I could do
I
that.
saw Daft Punk
You saw
front row.
Daft Punk and
Yeah.
said I could do that.
Kind of. I was like, we could do something like this.
The pyramid one. When
Yeah, the pyramid. Well,
wow.
I put 3 things together in 2007. It was, okay, myself and a couple of my friends, we definitely have the ability or at least the mind to like build stuff because we already had the DZ. I know I could like at least use my hands to physically do something and build something. Second thing, we all play music or we play music or we're big music enthusiasts. It's one of those things. If it's like Eddie, who doesn't play music, but he's a big music enthusiast. He actively listens to music. He goes to shows. He listens to a lot. He likes music, supporter of it. I was playing music. Jake was playing music. So like I was like, all right, we got instruments. We have music. We want music. Okay. And then the third thing is we have a decent, solid, abnormally large group of friends. We could probably come together to like do something together. Not a lot of friends have that. They go, how do you start this? It's like, well, if you only have 2 friends, yeah, you can't start a music festival together. Like if it's just DIY, you just can't. You need more people. So it was in 2007, and I thought, let's see if we can like plug stuff in the DZ. I didn't know anything about electricity at the time.
The DZ wasn't electric then?
It was, but it had 2 very thin, like 16 gauge extension cords. One wasn't grounded.
Enough to power a PS2 and
TV,
and a
PS2, lights. A vacuum would just dim all the lights. Like not enough to power amplifiers, guitars, bass, things that have a lot of power. So I tried it. I brought some gear out there. I remember putting it on the roof, and I thought the DZ roof can be the stage, and everyone could be in the backyard by the fire.
So cool.
Do you know this?
So good. I probably knew this at one point.
And I tried it, and I plugged in a Music Man amplifier and a Jaguar guitar, Fender Jaguar, and as soon as I like grabbed the strings, I just got electrocuted.
Oh my God.
I'd say heavily shocked. I was like, oh, and I like touched the mic. I was like, oh, shoot, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, I need to learn more about all of this. So I put it on hold for a bit. I also knew like it would take time to get to that. Like my family, my parents, they would not allow for us to do it then. I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I got hurt a lot to get to these ideas.
And then you thought, oh, well, let's continue in this field.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's an obstacle, and you know what obstacles are, Matt. They're opportunities. So
that's so funny. I mean, it's not funny that you got shocked, but
it's not the first time. Like, and it hasn't been. I got shocked last week here working on stuff. So yeah. So
were you on the roof when
I
this
was on the
happened?
roof? I was on the roof on the top story one. So like.
So the second floor
probably
roof.
like 15 feet up in the
Was
air.
that would that have been at that time? Would that have been strong enough to hold a band? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Matt. For 17 years it wouldn't come down. It was so hard for us to take that thing down.
That thing was
it was
terrible.
not coming
Yeah.
down. Everyone's like, the DZ's gonna fall. I was like, I'm telling you. I remember how I built it. I knew that thing's not coming down until the wood slowly decays into the earth. It's just gonna sink forever. It's not gonna fall apart. It can't, based on the way everything connects, it can't like fall apart. It can't just come out. It just has to sink down.
Yeah.
And same thing with the platform. It's still up there for 13 years, swaying in the wind. It can't fall apart until the wood rots away.
Yeah.
By the way it was built. That's why it was always safe to be up there. Kind of.
Yeah.
If you knew what you were doing, it was not dangerous.
Yeah. So 2007, getting shocked.
2007, yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board. And then it was a lot of gaining gear, gaining experience, a larger friend group, and kind of gaining the trust of my family and friends, I think, in what I do. And the family thing, well, we can get into that, but that was tricky because I knew that no one would allow for it, obviously. Who would say, yes, you can do this? You'd have to be crazy. But I also knew that I can do these things, and we could pull them off in a safe and productive manner, but also if we did get caught, because I've been notorious for always being on top of stuff, I knew that I could talk my way out of anything. Because it's like, if you get caught doing a fest in your backyard and you're sober and present, and anybody who's kind of like you, Eddie, anybody who's like Trevor, people like really doing stuff, they're also that. Law enforcement, neighbors, parents, they all completely look at you differently. They won't just throw you out with the bathwater and be like, no, screw them. They're a bunch of kids causing problems. Like, no, wait. Okay, so they are making sense. They're lucid. They're talking to us. They're not like most people doing this who are like high and drunk right now. So that was a big leg up, and it actually was true. It worked all 10 years. That always worked. And then like the little things, you got to treat it like it's your home, but it's also other people's homes. So you have to be aware of that. You have to clean stuff up more than you normally would. You have to, you have to like think from many different perspectives, and you have to be able to do that at a young age, which is difficult. But I remember learning that at a young age, and that's why I was able to like sustain the DZ for so long. Like everyone thought like, let's go to this clubhouse party, drink, smoke, shoes. And I was like, if it's a home, why do homes last
Wait,
so
did
long?
you just say shoes?
Shoes, like wearing shoes in the like bringing in.
You don't
dirt
remember when
and
you would
mud.
make us take our shoes off?
Yeah.
I did for a very long
Oh yeah,
time.
the
I
front.
like that you
we'd have
just
to take them off in
casually
the front
threw
room.
that party, drink, smoke, shoes.
It's
Like,
because it's like trying to keep things nice so they last longer.
yeah.
Sustainability. So if you do all those things, when the adults, like my parents, would go into the DZ and they would see how nice and well kept it was, they were always like, whoa. Like you would look on the outside, like this place is probably trashed, full of drugs and this and that. No, it was super clean. I cleaned it all the time. I would bug it or bomb it for bugs. I would.
Did you
take,
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd take up all the carpet every spring, vacuum everything, put it back, clean it really well, switch out the rugs every couple, 3 years, like 2-3 years. I'd rotate out rugs, new furniture. So always dusting it, always vacuuming it, always cleaning it. Yeah, so
treating it with respect.
exactly. Proving like, yeah, this is an abnormal looking thing, just like DZ Fest is, but what it actually is very legitimate. Like, even though it looks super
Sus.
bizarre and very suspicious looking, but it's like not.
Yeah.
And most people, when they see photos of it, to this day, they go, man, you must have done a lot of like drugs in there. I was like, I didn't do one drug ever in the DZ. Like, seriously, not one time have I done a drug in the DZ.
Ever.
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 I can't say the same.
I have drank alcohol.
The early years I wasn't though. No way.
I drank alcohol in there, but even that was not often.
Yeah.
So not often when I did, everyone looked at me and was like, Ben's drinking?
Yeah.
For real, at that time. Obviously, I do now, but then, no.
Yeah.
Only because I knew, like, you have to be on top of this in order to make it work. Like, it won't work if you can't participate in it. You can't have that fun. You are the host 100% of the time. No days off.
That's a sacrifice.
Yeah,
you
but
view
I
it as
also
a
it felt
sacrifice?
natural. Like, I also didn't really care to drink, so it was actually
Yeah.
pretty easy to do. But I also knew, like, I can't even do that if I want to. I have to. For like small parties when we were a little bit older, when I was like 22, 23, I would. But high school and like early college,
yeah, in the
no.
early days,
Not at
you
all.
wouldn't touch it.
Nothing.
So then, when I don't know if it's fast forwarding too much, but then the first show, would you consider the first show like a trial?
So yeah, it
for
was. So the
what
first
would
show was
become-
in May 2011. My mom and dad were at Winona in Indiana, and for the weekend, and I asked if I could have a show at the house, 2 bands. I believe it was Freudian Slip and Wilshire. And they said, yeah, but they want like, adult supervision. So I had them talk to Vinny's parents, and they said, okay. Excuse me. So I ordered a porta potty, my first experience doing that. And we set up the tarp that like went out of the garage, and it attached to like ping pong tables on the sides.
Okay.
And then it attached to like some other things.
And the stage was in
the
the
was in the garage against the back wall, and it was probably like 13 feet by like 8 feet.
This
12 feet by
wasn't
8 feet.
the album release show?
No, that one was 5 months later in October.
Was that the one with?
That
Get
was
by
the one
Quick
with
Schemes? Oh, okay.
Get by Quick Schemes and Tuna Melt,
Tuna
which is
Melt.
Dylan Charlie, and then Wilshire.
Wow,
So
I think I forgot about this first show you're talking about.
Yeah, the first show. It was the first one
definitely
that
don't
Steven and
remember
Zach went. First one they ever came here. They came.
But
They were
when I
really
think
young.
about those shows, I just think about the Get by Quick Schemes
No, we did.
one.
We did too,
you know,
and
Steven was what?
15.
6 years old?
Him and
no, but
Zach were
Aaron was like
15.
3 running around there.
Yeah, he was.
man.
Their younger brother. Yeah.
That's wild.
So hooked up lights, had a PA system. It was all not good, but we did it, and successful show. No issues, no electrocution or anything. And
What do you remember about that show playing wise?
I don't really remember much playing because I was so busy setting up. Just like I don't remember much playing of any DZ Fest. Like I think along with Vinny, I think I had the most performances at DZ Fest. It's something like 16 times I've played with different bands.
10 Fest,
10
16
Fest, 6, yeah.
shows?
A lot of triple, quadruple
Yeah.
band sessions, and so I always remember like setting up way more than I do playing, to be honest. Like
So-
every event.
So when that first show happens and it's like the next day or even that night or whenever, and you reflect like, okay, that was a success. That kind of worked. I think I can do this again.
yeah.
But were you thinking, I think I could do it
Yeah.
DZ Fest size?
I was
or were you
thinking like we just got to
thinking-
move this to the backyard, but how do I do it? How do I do it with rain? Because the garage is going to help a lot.
Yeah.
power extension cords. Like the only extension cords and like any type of advanced tools we ever had was whatever Eddie and I could conjure up from our dad's stuff. Like that's it. That's as far as because we didn't have any money. You know?
What was the turnout for that first show? Like just
Probably
50
like,
friends and family.
It was probably like
100?
50 to 70 people, and to
Not bad, honestly.
to set up the alley oop for understanding DZ Fest for anybody listening to it who don't know. This house for the last 70 years has always been an open door. A lot of people coming here. So even doing DZ Fest, it didn't seem too hard for me because I knew like even if no one comes just by word of mouth of our friends, we'll still get a couple hundred people here. We all know so many people, and everyone knows this place already. Like by 2012, when we first did DZ Fest, people have been hanging out just in something like the DZ where the name comes from for 7 years already.
Right.
A lot of people. It was a very popular place in the local
We knew
high
a lot
school
of people
area.
by then.
A
Yeah.
lot of people hung out
Definitely.
here. So it wasn't hard to get people to come. And a lot of people who knew some gear. I had some friends that knew more about gear than I did, that I learned from. You know, Joe, Jake, Jason, Derek, other people that knew more than I did.
Yeah.
So between the knowledge of the collective, the notoriety of this place that people already knew about it, anybody local would come and knew about it
You
from.
can get 50 people in the DZ just for a party on a Friday night.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
tell them there's music all
Accidentally,
day. All of
yeah.
a sudden, there's a
Yeah.
get
And it
'em
was
all.
word of mouth tremendously.
Were your parents at the second show?
They were at the second one and they really liked it because they also were in. My parents, for those who don't know, also really like to party, and I don't mean party like get wasted. They just like to have fun and like have
They like a good time.
camaraderie
Oh, yeah.
and like in food and music and dancing. Every New Year's Eve they had a party here. We had one in the DZ. They'd always come say hi. They like that stuff. As long as there's no shenanigans, they don't mind it at all. So they really liked it because they made it part of their October party. They always did like an October thing. So they just made it part of that where Mom made a bunch of chili. Their friends came over and we had our triple album release show.
The triple album.
I don't settle for anything.
Oh, that's
But
incredible.
obnoxious.
Was that 100% your choice to make the
Yeah.
album a triple?
I can't speak for the four other members in that band over the 6 years of that band, but 100% of the time they did not want to do 100% of what I want to do, like ever. I really don't think they did. Like so much pushback
Does this
and
song
like
have to be 14 and a half
yeah, like
minutes
why are we
long?
playing this
Oh
part
my
8 times
God.
when it should just be one? Like it's a vibe. I don't know.
You'll never say the real reason behind any of the songs. So if I had a list of songs and I was like, tell me about, this
I
song.
could.
You would
Throw
never.
it down the stairs. Why'd you do it?
Throw
Why-
it down the name or the song.
Doesn't matter.
Just dish, Ben.
Yeah.
Dish.
The song was because we were in Vinny's room listening to the demo we recorded in the basement, and Vinny said something about throwing something down the stairs. I think to Zach, and I was like, "That's a good name. Let's call it Throwing Down the Stairs."
Nice. There you go.
Did you ever know that? Because
No,
I remember I think every Wilshire show I'd ever been to, I've always heard, throw it down the stairs.
Right.
Yeah, someone would yell it.
Someone
Usually
would
me.
yell it. Yeah. Oh boy. So the third show, can I guess? Do you know what the third show would have been? I'm gonna guess. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like shush you.
The third DZ show?
The third show at the DZ,
Here.
I'm guessing, was an intimate evening.
It was
Guessing.
the first DZ Fest.
It was the first CD, yeah.
There wasn't an intimate evening
No.
before DZ Fest?
It came
No.
after.
No.
Yeah.
So it
I
was.
would have bet
well
money that
after,
an
I
intimate
think.
evening was
It
my
came a
first.
year and a half after about.
Shut
Yeah.
up. So
we had two
DZ
DZ
Fest
Fests.
was,
Yeah.
but not. What about the one that was just like couch cushions and people
Yeah.
with
That's
shoes
in
off?
that's in November. I think it's November 15th, 2013.
I would have bet good money that the intimate evening went first.
I only started doing them because I was like, oh, this could be a fun way to meet more bands and get more bands here so I can have them play DZ Fest and do the video sessions and record records and like get to know people by providing a space for them to play.
Mind blown. So the fest was the first fest was the third show.
The third show over here was the first fest,
Wow.
yeah. So it went May 2011, October 2011, July 2012.
So when planning that first fest, can you remember some of the things like that you had thought of early on? Like, okay, where am I gonna position things?
Yeah, I remember you and I would run a lot around the retention pond. I'd always meet you there because you lived not too far from here. So I would run around there, I don't know, maybe 2 miles, something like that. And I was running back one day, and I was trying to think of a way to build the stages, but how am I supposed to get the wood? I didn't have money to buy it. I didn't want to steal it. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know what to do. So I'm like, I was jogging, and I saw this guy throwing out a bunch of wood. It was deck wood from his pool deck. And I said, can I have that? He's like, yeah, come back and grab it. So I brought my dad's Ford Explorer. I picked all that wood up.
Old deck wood.
Brought it back. We just cut down the big elm tree behind the house the previous year. So I had a ton of logs. So I was like, I'll use the logs as steps, and I'll use the deck wood as the stage.
I love the log steps.
The logs were steps.
Log steps
That was
is
so.
good.
I thought that was so cool.
Well,
I understand why you went away from it, but I just thought, like, how cool is that?
I mean-
I always liked that.
when that's like
DZ Fest time, people were going up a wobbly.
the thing about
wobbly
DZ
log.
Fest
How
is like
did
it
nobody
didn't just
break an
come out of
ankle?
nowhere. You know, like doing all that stuff, like the DIY mentality, like using anything you can to make it happen, is
Yeah.
from the experience of doing the DZ.
There's
of building
so
that
many
fort, you know?
like in the first handful of years, couple years, just thinking like, how the heck, like, where? Oh, he knows someone, or oh, I know, or I got rugs. You need some rugs, or
Yeah.
just so many examples of that,
Yeah.
or like, which year was it? You got a generator,
That was 2015.
and it
was a bad idea.
yeah, I remember
that
like,
was
I got a nasty
disaster.
scar from that.
But
too.
but there's so many of those examples where it's like what is it you can't make an omelet without cracking some eggs or whatever. Like you cracked so many eggs,
so
like,
many
many
eggs
dozens
have
of
been
eggs.
cracked and broke,
But
and fell
that's
apart.
but stuff like that you can write a book about. Like
Oh, there could,
you know, like,
if it was worth it, like you could totally write a book about it.
or
It's
at least
insane.
podcast about it.
There's just so much, like
Yeah.
so much happened. It was so much that I just didn't tell anybody because I thought like where the slogan "fake it till you make it" comes from. First of all, that's not 100% true because like if you don't know what you're doing, you can't just keep faking. I think what that really means is like don't let people know what's going on and just let them see the outcome.
Yeah.
People saw DZ Fest. They don't know all the insanity that happened, the ups and downs that led to the outcome. So you just don't share it. You just don't let anybody know.
There's a true DIY spirit to this place, to DZ Records Fest, that like if you're outside of it, or if you're like, because people think the music industry or whatever, it's a polished industry, corporate backed, whatever. Nothing against it, it just is what it is. But the DIY spirit is something like it's like an amalgamation of like youth mixed with like work ethic, mixed with like gumption, mixed with like who knows what. But like you can't, like, it's so intangible, it's so like unteachable, like it's almost like I don't know, it's like you have it or you don't, you know, like that spirit I feel is so important to, I don't know, I guess I'm speaking personally, but like there's such a value to that. And nowhere have I ever seen it, you know, on display more than in this basement, in that backyard.
Yeah.
And it is so important. A DIY ethic and spirit is so important, especially to a burgeoning artistic culture.
Yeah.
For lack of a better, well, saying artistic culture just was like, ugh, but
I mean, it is. It's
Yeah.
and you're right. You can't like teach it. You have to try to live it. And I just tell people like you just have to just be open and like say yes to everything. And I always was like everyone knew this was the place you can just bring stuff. Like yeah, Ben will take it. Like oh, I got this rug. You want it? I never bought any of these rugs. I have like this
getting
Persian,
couches
this
all
amazing
the
Persian
time.
rug. I didn't purchase. I found it in the garbage. Like
it's so funny to hear. It's so funny to hear you say, "Oh yeah, Ben will take it," because
Ben will
there's
take
so
it.
much crap I jumped off
Everything.
here.
Everything.
Oh yeah.
Just stuff on stuff on stuff. He'll take it.
I hope Ryan McMahon's listening to this, and I hope he remembers the carpet squares. But like that's one of those things. Like every few weeks, I think about and just laugh about, like trying to give you carpet squares that you just did not want.
1 by 1 foot, right?
Just like
or 2 by 2 foot.
They were like,
right?
yeah,
Just
like
take them.
Take these
did
carpet
not
squares.
want.
I
They
don't want
sat
the
in my
carpet.
trunk for who knows how long. Like, oh, Ben will take cardboard stickers. Wait, he doesn't want
He
something?
doesn't want
What?
these. Oh no.
And I remember Ryan laughing about that so
Yeah.
much. Oh man, that's so
I
funny.
mean, at a certain point, you can't house, everything. But yeah, it's you can't teach it. I was always baffled by how many people didn't live that way. I'm like, who doesn't want to?
Not everyone has the space to just take everything, though.
I mean, you just got to find layers. I've learned you just put layers on
but
layers.
that's the perfect storm of this joint.
It is the
Yeah.
perfect
You
storm.
know,
Right.
like
It's the perfect recipe.
if you had half of that yard,
couldn't do it,
Yeah.
you know, like there's no if this basement flooded more than it already does, you couldn't do it. If you're
this basement floods to the point where I should not be doing.
That's what I'm
I just been
saying.
dealing with
Yeah,
it the whole
yeah.
time. Like it's been
Like,
very frustrating.
there's so
Huge
many
problem. PTSD like
perfect-
no other. Like I remember I told Trevor, I was like, the day all the stuff's out of here, I want the worst storm ever. I want it to flood so bad so I could just sit in the new place laughing, just smiling.
oh no, and then
Sleep
some lawyer's
soundly
gonna
at
call
night.
you and say you sold me a bunkhouse.
Yeah.
So when you then were putting together the lineup for one,
Mm-hmm.
walk us through that process. Was it just like
Walk us-
anybody
Who in the world will play
who's
this?
got a
Yeah.
guitar?
Yeah.
It
please
was-
show
Who
up.
do I know?
So a funny thing about all of this, go before DZ Fest 12, which is July 2012, and DZ Records, which is August 2010, which is exactly 12 years ago right now. Happy anniversary. And it's, 2009, and I'm starting to record. Still in this basement, but it wasn't like this at all. You guys know. And starting to record, I had a little digital 8-track recorder. I would record between Vinny's here. It was pretty mobile. I had to plug it in, but I'd go places with it. Garage, I'd record in the DZ, anywhere I could. Really getting into recording and playing music a lot. And we started Wilshire with Vinny and I and Brendan in March 2010. And I was like, man, we tried playing shows we'd play, but like it was really hard to have a place to play when you're playing experimental, post-rock, ambient, avant-garde sound art. Like in the city, that's not a hard thing. You go to like the north side, you'll find an art gallery you could play. We'd be fine there, but not in the southwest suburbs of Chicago in the year 2010. Pre-Instagram and social media really giving light to these things. So I selfishly actually wanted to have these things so I had a place to play. It came out of realizing that I learned later in life, not everyone has a place to play, and I know that firsthand. I couldn't get to play anywhere. I couldn't find people to play with. So I was like, I'll just do it myself. Who would have thought? I'll do it myself. So DZ Records was like, I just want a studio where I can record.
Yeah.
That's why the first couple of years is just Wilshire recording.
Did you
Yeah.
call it DZ Records thinking, all right, one day this will be an empire? Or was it just,
I
DZ
called
Records,
it that,
sure.
thinking one day I want to have. My dream was to have a recording studio. And
Yeah.
like what happens now is what I wanted. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems impossible. And like I don't think anybody thought. Yeah, there's no way. I didn't think. I was like, I have to. Like, I had other jobs. I did the subway thing in Blockbuster and worked at UPS and a lot of construction. I was like, this is all necessary, but it is absolutely miserable. I don't want to do it. Like, I'm so glad I did it. It taught me so much more about life. To work at UPS for 7 years and do all this now, it's crazy. But I hated it. I hated every moment of it. So I wanted a studio where I could play and record and have control over the whole process because I really like writing and playing music, but I also like how to capture it with a microphone, translate it, and have it come out a speaker. Like that whole art form. How does that happen? Because everyone loves music. So how in the world do you do that? How do you interpret that? And how do you translate it? And after getting more into recording, I was like, okay, I can have a studio. And then I was like, but where do I play? I was like, DZ Fest. Like, I could have a fest where I could play it. Cool. So
Who is the first band to commit?
I
first
got
act.
lucky and I just met. So I knew Ryan from Esta Vivo before this, but he used to come to Subway all the time. Him and the skateboarding crew from Hickory Hills would go there all the time when I was a teenager, and I would hang out and notice these guys were cool. And he was the only one out of the crew that wasn't obnoxious with their skateboard in the lobby, like doing tricks, knocking
Yeah.
over chips and stuff. So he was the only one that was like, I'm sorry about my friends. Like, he was nice.
Yeah.
So I liked him. I was like, okay, this guy's cool. And then I knew he played music. And then Diana and I went to one of their shows at the Empty Bottle. And I was like, oh, cool. We started hanging out like right away. I really liked their music. And I met a bunch of like David and Justina and a bunch of people. And then I was like, oh, you guys are on bands? Like, hey, I want to have this fest. Do you guys want to play? And just so happened they live close by.
Yeah.
Hickory Hills, Payless, so it's like, yeah. And they're not going to say, no one says no when you're like, I'm going to set up all the gear. It'll be my amps, my bass, all that. And it was. I bought everything and made sure I had it. And I thought, to get people to play, no one's going to say no when you just provide everything.
Yeah.
It's like a layup. They just walk right in.
Yeah.
And that's been working ever since, honestly.
Plus, most of those bands then were just going to play any stage.
Yeah, they
get
were
on,
very fresh.
whatever.
Had so
just kids trying to
Wilshire.
get on stage.
Exactly. Estevivo, Avantis, a couple of friends who played solo stuff like Jason, Nicole Russell, her brother, and Dill Epling and his band with Matt, who still play with to this day. We have band practice Tuesday. So it's kind of funny, actually. And yeah, so it was just
Matt
like...
played every DZ Fest?
Who?
Matt Mullen?
Has he played what?
Every DZ
He's
Fest?
played a lot. He's
been here forever.
Yeah, he has
Between
played a lot.
Them Dead Poets and Neighbors You Know, he's played a good amount.
Wasn't he also in... who am I thinking of?
The 92s,
Oh, yeah.
he was.
And then somebody was... But
He was
he's been
in
in
another-
like
he's
40
been in a
bands,
bunch.
though.
He's
But he
great
didn't.
drummer.
They didn't play here.
No.
92s played in 2013.
The Fest?
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
I remember they
Man,
did a session.
My bad. I don't remember anything.
They played in 2000.
Damn,
So
did
who,
they?
who was
That's crazy.
the first act? Was it Nicole
The
Russell?
first act was,
Or
I
was
think,
it
a solo
Jason?
stuff. I think it was Nicole, and then I believe Jason, and then her brother, and then we had a band drop out. It was very laxed. I remember saying it started at like 3 and it went until 2 a.m. Like that's
I
when
left.
the promotion,
I left DZ1 to go to work.
and then you came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. you
That's
did
how much of
shift
a
and
big
came
deal
back.
or not a big deal it was. I just left for like 4 hours.
Jake didn't even come. One of our closest friends didn't come because it was his
Jake-
dad's bachelor party. So he just didn't even come. So he actually missed the first. The first one was very low key. It was like super dangerous, sketchy, poorly built stage with power that was terrible that went out while Wilshire was playing. I have a video of that.
I swear I didn't think of it as anything but more of just another DZ party.
So, yeah.
We just had music playing for
Most
7
people thought it was
hours,
just a big DZ
whatever.
party with like
So,
bands playing.
real quick, true or false? Okay, wait. Actually, no. I'll get to that true or false in a second. How much did your parents know? What did they know?
I asked, I knew I couldn't say nothing because my sister.
Oh, yeah.
So I asked,
And your brother, too, or is he not living here?
he wasn't living here.
Okay.
He was there. He wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So, for context, you are blank years old.
I'm 22 years old.
You're 22 years old, wanting to put on a music festival in
Yes.
your backyard,
Yes.
while your parents living here.
My parents
and
live
your
here. My sister
living
lives here.
Who's a
we have
third
no
parent.
animals. My brother already moved out like 6 months earlier. or
So,
something.
what did they know?
I said, can we play a show in the backyard? I'll build a little stage and have like 2 bands play. Wilshire and another band, just, ready for this one? Just like we did in October and in May. And those were successful and smooth. So I planned it out. I knew I had to do a couple to get under my belt to show them I could
You
do
built
it.
up the credit.
Exactly. And then did that. I didn't, so I was like, it's a really good white lie. It's like, we did do that,
Yeah.
but other bands played.
To which they said, yeah.
Sure, but like this, and that. And I followed everything, and I did it really well. They left Friday.
They left
I built it Friday.
You built the stage
We
Friday.
had it
So that was
Saturday,
my
took
true
it
or
down
false.
Sunday. Monday, it's like it never happened except the grass is a little
That
dead.
was literally my true or false question. That's exactly how it
That's
went.
exactly how it happened.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's amazing.
And I did the same
That's
exact thing
amazing.
because it worked. And I said, okay, can we do it again next year?
I vaguely
Same
remember
thing.
the stage to get the legs. Did everyone have to lift and then you like hurried up and built the legs underneath? Is that true? Or
So
I vaguely remember doing
we
something
flipped.
Like that. The first year was a flip?
We've always flipped, but we didn't. We got better at the flipping one. I would put all the posts on the 4x4.
We flipped the
post.
first stage, huh?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
remember.
For
It
some
was
reason, I
small.
remember like
Had to have been
lifting
small.
it. And
You know
like,
what?
but
I think we might have done that in the first one.
I don't
Lifted
think
it.
I don't
Yeah,
think
you're
we
right.
flipped
Just
the first
everyone
stage.
held it
Yeah.
while
I think
you just, like,
we did
built
that, and then
quick.
I made it bigger the second year. No, about a little bit bigger, and then the third year, 2014 was when it was the size it is now, which is
Okay.
16 feet by 24 feet.
We flipped a
God,
full
those
one.
And I
flips,
started putting
man.
a post underneath, like
Yeah.
a beam, perpendicular, with 3 4x4s. And then my 2015, I did the 5, 5, 5, so 15. And that's
okay.
the stage has been extremely solid since then. That's when
Yeah.
it's been like I'm not scared.
Yeah.
Before that, I was always a little worried, especially the first 2 years. It was so dangerous.
Was that Vivo had it
Yeah, the
Bouncing pretty
jumping
good.
in 2013, Ryan, and 12, Ryan got everyone on stage, and 14, and 15.
Great moments.
Oh, amazing! Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Scary one.
Peekaboos did, and
One of those
man.
times there was a piece of it was literally just like cracked underneath.
that's
I was
why.
like, oh,
That's when I
shit.
stopped.
Oh man.
And I was like, okay, we probably should stop doing that.
So what you said you left the first one. What's your memory of the first one? Just
Man.
a party and
Yeah, I
Ben
mean,
doing something crazy.
well, yeah,
again?
because I remember the beginning and it was just chill. Yeah, and there's pictures of it. We're just kind of chilling in the like on like those tables and stuff.
There's a ping pong table. Did you have the trampoline?
Yeah.
still
Two ping
then?
pong tables, trampoline,
Oh my
podcast station that you put on, Friends of Music.
So
It was
I remember I
episode
left it and it was pretty
10, I
chill. And I think I was only at work for a couple. Like
weren't
they
there
knew there
long.
was this thing going on, so like
Yeah.
they were like trying to get me out. And like
Yeah.
like I went in late and I left early. I was probably there for like 2 or 3 hours. I really missed. So
And we went later. That's back when, like, I think
Yeah, it went till, like,
Wilshire went on
midnight.
at like 11:30. Played for like an hour.
yeah,
We went late.
I think that episode of Friends of Music was episode 10.
Yeah, the podcast.
oh yeah, I
for
forgot
those
you did
listening.
a live pod.
There's a lot
live
to
from
talk about.
DZ Fest
We had a
pod.
podcast,
Crap.
Friends of Music, that
Water. There's a bunch of water everywhere. Did you start with the water first?
I
year?
bought. I brought some water bottles, but nothing
But
crazy
no
because
food vending.
no food.
vending.
We had
Oh.
like 10, 20 shirts for sale, hanging up. That we all
Jeez,
made
I don't
in
even-
Easy with stencils.
Yeah,
It was all.
I didn't even know we sold those.
It's very.
funny.
The whole thing is the definition of DIY, like in every way, like everything, like
100%.
besides the audio equipment we didn't make, but everything else is just built and custom.
I'm not
Everything.
being rude, by the way. I'm just consulting my notes.
Ask a,
so I don't
ask a
wanna
note question. Matt's got notes.
Look at the last one.
Please.
What? What's the last one?
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I know.
So, like, as tempted as I am to literally walk like this through every fest, is that something you want to do? All 10, where I'm like, what's
I can.
the early?
You want an answer? I'll 99% of the time I'll be able to give it to you about this, about DZ
Oh,
stuff.
Benjamin. So DZ Fest 1 is wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
It's the next week or whatever. What's going through your mind? Like, oh man, we can do this.
Well, I was about to start at Columbia.
Oh, yeah.
And I was working on my second record, the Wilshire record, the second one. And we were trying to get a bass player, so we had Dill join the band after that. So the first DZ Fest, it's Wilshire, it's Vinny, Brendan, and I, just three.
Wilshire proper. Yeah.
Right. And then we get a bass player. And we started meeting more people, more bands. Friends started introducing more bands to like, we do this fest here. And it's like, it was a great way to get more people to come through. And then the following winter, February, I have the idea of maybe we should do live video sessions to get more bands through and start promoting the local scene. So we started doing the live video sessions, and that truly worked well. It started exposing me to more people to get to the fest. And so by the next fest, we actually had people I didn't know. And like the 92s, like, who knows another person I didn't know that played? Trying to think.
The second fest was the one that got shut down.
Blah,
right?
blah, blahs were going to play. Yeah, so that one, it was 9 o'clock in 2013, DZ Fest, and there was the Avantis, blah, 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 SWV Wilshire left to play.
Man, what a lineup.
And then the rain was coming, and Eddie and I your mom was letting us know. We got a
Yeah.
whiff of it. We checked many sources. We're like, yeah, this is coming. Like, we knew. It was 100% happening.
100% did happen.
And it
too.
100% did happen.
It
So
came
I had to
down-
think
it came
about,
down.
It did. And I had a lot of gear outside. So I was like, we got to get inside, which means you have to stop. And that was rough because it was in the middle of a set of everyone rocking out. And I had to pull the plug on it. And it was brutal. Like, I literally had to be like, we have to stop now, put everything away. And people were, the band was upset. The crowd was upset. Literally everybody was upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For about 10 minutes, I looked really bad until it poured. And then I'm sure everyone was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
not
then
so
it-
bad.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, could you have survived that rain?
No,
I don't
no.
remember the rain
Not
that
with
much. But
what we knew then. Since then, we've dealt with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And we're fine. But no, we could not.
and the third year was the year it got
Completely canceled it and had to move 2 weeks.
Just flooded the backyard.
Oh my God. I'll never
Never
forget
forget
it.
that either.
5:30 in the morning. thunderstorm. I'm laying in bed, and I go, oh, no, I have to go outside. It's the day of DZ Fest. And it's July 12th, 2014. I had to go out there, and everything was getting destroyed. It was a bad storm. Tarps, all the big tarps you put up this massive 2,400 square foot tarp got destroyed. Man. All this stuff got destroyed. All the hard work, the carpets got soaked, like everything. So we had to cancel it. And that was the year I really had bands that I just met through doing the sessions, because now it was a year and a half of doing video sessions. Hartford Foch.
Wow, like that era.
What's the band? What's the band?
Ghost
blah, blah,
Horse?
blah, Ghost Horse, blah, 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 Big Joy.
Big
Dang.
Big
Devin, Wilshire, who else? And that's when we added Steven, so now we had 5 people. Baba Rams.
We don't have to talk about
That's
that.
we crested at
Baba
that.
Rams. We don't talk about them either.
Salt the Slugs, actually. Salt the
Yeah, the
Slugs.
slugs.
It was the Slugs.
It's just the slugs.
not Salt the
Salt the
Slugs.
slugs is just the slogan I made up for them.
Estevivo, a lot of bands played.
Oh man, that's funny.
And
what was the year that you got your eye infected? Or
that
whatever?
was
Forgot about that.
that was 2013.
Okay.
I was eating. We got everything set up, so I went to Del Carmen to get some tacos and burritos with Brian, and I'm eating a chip, and the chip, I bite into it, and it flies up and cuts my eyeball.
This guy gets a chip in his eye.
I get-
DZ
I
Fest.
get
of
an
all
abrasion
the
on my
things.
eyeball the night before DZ Fest.
Of all,
Did not sleep.
What year was the year you got into a car accident?
That
Like-
was 2013 as well.
Like the moment before DZ Fest.
It was that night. I was taking Daisy and Reed home,
and yet you kept
and I crashed.
going.
I crashed my car into a ditch. It was raining. And my tires really bald, and we got out of that one. We knew the police officer and the tow truck guy.
So after the third one with the postponement,
Wait, I gotta finish the eye
right.
thing because
Yeah,
it's
yeah, go ahead,
hilarious.
go ahead,
It's
go
actually really funny. I don't sleep all night. It's miserable, immense pain. I'm dying. I'm like, how am I supposed to do this festival? I luckily knew my optometrist very well, Dr. Schlange. Had him my whole life. My grandma was his receptionist, so like really knew him well. Yeah.
Okay. Big
So I had
ups
his
to
wife's
Dr.
personal
First
number
name
who like
basis with
books.
his eye doctor.
What's up?
First name basis with your eye doctor.
I knew I had his wife's number because she booked everything, and so I called her really early, like 6 a.m. I was like, I need to go in like now. She's like, we can get you in at 8. So I go in at 8. They
This
numb
is
my
day
eye.
of DZ Fest.
Day of DZ Fest. They drip this stuff in my eye and they numb it, and they're like, okay, it'll be good by like time this gets unnumb. I was like, okay, like will I be able to see? And they're like, yeah, just it might look weird. So I had an eyeball I
Nothing
could not
unusual for
couldn't-
you.
I had an eyeball I couldn't control that was numb, rolling around while I'm putting on DZ Fest. If I opened my eye, it was just like, just because it
Oh,
had no like
no.
control.
Oh no.
And there's video footage of Andrew talking to me.
And your eyes just gone.
I kept it closed, which I always did anyway. But when I opened it, it's just like looking down. It's the funniest thing ever. I was so tired. I didn't sleep at all. No sleep. So I set up the fest, cut my eye, go to the doctor, got in that car accident, no sleep. We have the fest and nobody knows. And that's the stuff I'm talking about. That's the fake it till you make it stuff. You don't
Yeah.
let anybody know it because they're like, I'm not going to let this person be at the helm. Like he's sleep deprived. He's all messed up. Like you just do these things and no
It's
one
just
knows
going.
until 9 years later.
That
on
was
the
DZ
podcast.
Fest 2.
That's DZ Fest
Should have
2.
gave up then.
Right? Like, why
Jesus.
keep going? You did
That
8
would've been-
more after
That
that.
would have been it with me, man. Shit.
So after the third one, it's blurry. Like I don't.
DZ Fest 2014.
Yeah,
After that one.
I don't remember.
So 2015 was the
the
big
tw-
one
the
because we did
in-between
2
years.
stages. That was huge.
Like I remember that, but I don't remember it. Who was that?
Who played it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many bands.
Dude.
Oshwa.
Yeah, it was a good
that
one.
was
Big
last
Joy.
year?
Swimsuit Edition. Avantis, Wilshire.
That was the first year of 2 stages.
Almighty Joy, Luke Henry, Follies.
Midi Joyful was that?
It was Almighty Joy
yeah.
at the time. Yeah, Mighty
Oh,
Joyful.
man. What's his name? And
Corvids,
Fowles.
which is Sylvia's old
Mike
band.
Dixon.
Blah, blah, blah.
Dixon, that's right.
I think he's in the Navy now.
Was that the
Bunch
yeah?
of stuff.
Yeah.
Was that the 4th of July one?
Yeah, it was. So that was another secret. Doing
okay.
it on or very close to 4th of July to
Oh, yeah.
get away with it because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
noise gets masked and
Yeah.
everyone just thinks it's a big party, a 4th of
Yeah.
July party, which worked.
There's great video of David playing the national anthem and fireworks
It's,
going off.
Yeah.
That might
That's
be
awesome.
Apex
That's what
Mountain
I'm
right
saying.
there.
That's great.
But
That's
the thing
awesome.
is, the camera and
stuff.
like the tech stuff at the time that we had was still like it's gotten obviously got way better, but it was not good yet. We didn't have access to the gear. I didn't have enough money yet to buy the gear. I was trying to put everything I had into the gear.
Yeah.
So
2015, good crew shirts too.
great crew
Still
shirts,
have it.
and our
dark,
sound
dark
got
blue,
way
like
better,
navy.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I still have mine. It's in
I
good
think
shape.
you're wearing the best crew shirt.
That one's pretty.
This
sweet.
is that's part of the reason I'm wearing this shirt.
Yeah.
yeah.
a
It's
good
not because
one.
it's the best vest that we had. That's for sure. It's it was a tough one. It was a tough one.
That was an
COVID.
awesome
It
was
fest,
COVID, right,
But it was
so it was a
awesome
tough one.
because it was
Yeah.
later in the year,
Yeah,
so it wasn't
yeah.
as cold or
That's
hot.
why I wore it because I knew it'd be
Mm-hmm.
cold down here. I was like, I gotta wear a DZ Fest shirt of some sort. So
So then, all right, do we do Apex Mountains? Do we go around the horn and do Apex?
no, we don't have to do that.
Have you
We'll just keep calling them out as they
one
happen.
word answer, yes or no? Have you ever had fun at any of the DZ Fests?
Ooh.
Yes or no? Yes or no? I know you're about to say a sentence. Yes
Yeah,
or
we
no.
know you can explain yourself. We don't
Yes.
want it.
You liar. You're such a
Makes one about no. I'm
Can I put
Do your thing.
in parentheses
Do your thing.
in very very brief moments, and they're very like big like profound moments.
Yeah.
Usually like
Explain.
usually it'll
example.
be. It happens every year. It'll always be around the last, like maybe the last three bands when the crowd's the biggest. The vibes. I realize it's usually Sunday night too. I realize, oh, we did it. Like it's over. Like this
When you're-
insanity is literally
you're rounding
over.
third,
You
you're
could just
about to
feel
head
it.
home.
Yes, you're like, nothing's gonna go wrong. You look at the weather. Weather's
usually the
good.
best
Everything is
time.
good.
Yeah.
There's definitely a vibe in that area of time
Mm-hmm.
where being a manager, it's like, all right, here we go. We
Yeah.
got this.
Well, you
Like,
just know it's like
couple
over.
left,
It's when
uh-huh.
like Trevor will crack his like celebratory beer, like that stuff. You just know.
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
So around the last band, I'll always go like second to or the last band itself. I'll go by the stairs where the little platform is by the stage, and I'll sit on it, and I'll just like watch the crowd, watch the band, and just like realize like, okay, we did it. 39 bands played. No one got hurt. Nothing happened. Everything was recorded. Everything worked. No issues. Anything we had, no one knows anything bad that happened. No one knows that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. That's a success. So
Yeah.
that's when I'll like truly be happy and smile, like because getting through it is an impossible feeling to express.
But did you have fun?
I'm fun in that moment. Having like there are other times where it's like really fun, like in
Yeah.
the thick of it.
It is more
I'll be sitting there.
It's more
like,
retroactively fun than it is
Yeah.
at the moment
Yeah.
at times.
How about you? You have fun at DC Fest?
I think I have fun at DC Fest,
There-
but I
there's
mean, I
definitely
don't.
moments. It's
I don't have
never
the
the whole
stress to,
Yeah.
I'm just running around taking out garbage and helping bands like bring stuff in.
DZ Fest.
my version of fun though is, I don't know if it's very normal. Like I think it's fun when I'm climbing up the ladder with a piece of wood, a big heavy piece of wood, a nail gun,
Yeah.
and this big drape or curtain that's hanging with band names with no hands, like balancing up a ladder up 14 feet, while I look over and like 6 of my friends are like doing that job. People are blowing up balloons. Trevor and Yaz
Playing
are doing the
soccer.
sound. Like
It's the in between stuff that's
yeah,
fun.
there's like
Yeah, yeah,
50
yeah.
people doing something really
Kicking
well,
soccer
and we're all
balls.
doing it together, like independently of each other.
Yeah.
And we're all struggling together, and it's dark, and it's 10, and it's Friday night, the night before. That's fun. I mean, like this
Yeah.
is insane. Nobody else is doing
Yeah.
this. No one else has this.
It DZ Fest is except for Sunday morning, DZ Fest is every minute is the funnest minute of my life. The next minute is the funnest minute. Like except for like
the entire time.
11 o'clock Sunday morning.
Why? Because
Because
I gotta
you're
have
like,
to do this
I
again.
gotta- Jesus Christ, we gotta do this again.
It is tough on Sunday morning. Yeah.
See, it's funny. I think the
Tired.
opposite because I'm like, Sunday's easy because everything's done already. It's all set up. And go.
Yeah,
but you're
Saturday's the
tired.
hard one. Saturday morning is insane. Saturday morning is 6 a.m. to noon. You don't stop.
I'm running
until
on
it's-
pure adrenaline Saturday.
Yeah.
Like Saturday's
Yeah.
like, let's go.
I
Sunday
have a-
morning is
I,
like
I don't
death.
feel it. I feel death.
But that goes away though. Once the bands kick in,
Mm-hmm.
it goes away.
Once I'm 4 Red Bulls in.
Right?
Goes away.
A bag and a half of beef jerky.
Yeah.
I got so wrecked from the Red Bull this year. Oh my god!
Is this a good time to take an ad break?
Red Bull. We're not sponsored by them, but they sure love to hook us up.
Casper mattresses.
I had a
Not with
lot. I
rubber
think I had
sheets.
6 on Saturday. And
Oh
like
my goodness
5 on
gracious.
Sunday, and I had a lot of cold brew along with it. I was charged.
So,
Charged.
do we? Well, let's save that for later. Let's. All right, we did that. We did that. We did that.
What about you, Ed? Got any thoughts, questions for Matt? Questions for me?
No, I came so unprepared for this.
I have some questions.
What are your questions?
What is it all? Okay, I'll start with you, Ed. What has it been like for you for 10 years of doing this? Being a part of it, seeing all the in between, the backstage, the front stage, the stuff people know, the stuff people don't know, the whole thing.
What's it been like?
What's it been
Just the
like?
dirt.
You
Ed.
know,
Let's
the
get some
dirt.
Go on a rant.
Let's
Yeah.
let's
been
get the little E next to this podcast. For
Yeah.
explicit.
I think I dropped an F-bomb
He
already.
did. He already
Yeah.
made it explicit.
Yeah. Jeez.
Let's get rated R.
Yeah. You know, like I said, it all starts with just it being an extension of our childhood.
Mhm.
You know, so a lot of this stuff, I'm just with you doing it because I do have fun doing it, right? So, you know, the backstage stuff and the behind the scenes and all that. That's just like what we do all the time. When like that's just like our friendship.
It's
to
just
be honest
normal.
with you, yeah, right. So I mean, like that's why I never like mind doing it, and that's why I always enjoyed it and everything else because it was just what we did in every July for 10 years. You know, it's whatever. You know,
Right. And not just every July, like intimate evenings,
Yeah.
moving couches, filming something, setting up
Yeah,
lights,
yeah.
building the hallway for DZ Winterfest in December
yeah.
that connect the garage to the
Yeah,
house.
just
All
doing the
that stuff.
craziest stuff. You know,
The craziest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
DZ Winterfest, man.
yeah, and like 90% of the time, I'm like excited to see these bands. You know,
That's
so.
Wait, what about the other 10%?
You know, it's hit or miss sometimes. You can't win them all, though.
You can't listen.
Can't win
A
everything.
good, I don't know. We'll just say a number. A good 500 bands have played DZ Fest and Intimate Evenings. You're not gonna like all 500.
Right. No, yeah.
So,
Right.
but 90%, that's not bad.
The outcome for me, too, for most of these things are like, you know, kind of it's not a party, but especially like intimate evenings were parties for
They're
me,
parties.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, DZ Fest wasn't always like a party. Like sometimes it would get that way, like later at night when things are winding down or whatever. But like helping to put, like I didn't really do too much for intimate evenings. Depended on what was going on, but those were always just fun because it's like, oh, I get to be at my house or close to my house, like have fun and like party with my friends and see live music,
Just
you
see
know,
killer
and it's good
bands,
quality, you know,
Yeah.
you focus on the quality and that was always great.
That's
It was
another
Because that
thing.
wasn't to know it, you know, love the DIY scene, but it's, you know, sometimes it's not the greatest, you
Well,
know.
that's a big thing that
Especially when
I
we were,
noticed was
you know,
what you just brought up is very
we
important.
were going to a lot of shows back then. It wasn't just here. So, you know, you're here and you're getting good quality
Yeah.
at the least.
Quality of music that's played either in this spot or out there is it can't be beat.
And coupled with the production, the quality of the art itself translated through the production, which mics, lenses, PA speakers, amps. What a big thing that, like what Eddie brought up, like the quality was great, was this, I don't know, I still have to this day, like an obsession with trying to get to the truth of something. And that takes many shapes. Sometimes it's a conversation, a philosophical one, a religious one, what have you. Sometimes it's a guitar. Why buy such an expensive guitar when you're just a beginner? It's trying to get to the best version of like what this is. It's the same thing with the shows. I didn't have to buy the expensive microphones to do it. Most people wouldn't. They would buy the cheaper ones. But I thought like it's an investment. I could record better quality with this. I can translate these bands who have nowhere to be. No one will take them in. It's too expensive to go to studios to record. I can like be that vessel for it. And I want the show to be really good quality. I'm a kind of, like a purist when it comes to these types of things. And always have been. So I wanted the best version of it. And so what I think happened with DZ Records and DZ Fest was this really awesome convergence of DIY meets professionalism. Like truly, because I also went to school for it and I studied and I learned it professionally. And then the friends who started helping with production, like Andrew with film and Trevor and Joe and Yaz with sound, they did this stuff for a living. Like, so they knew that part well. And then I knew the recording part well. So the recordings got really good. They started looking really good. And then the performances live started sounding great because we started, I started buying more and more gear. And I'd always would use it as a gauge. If someone said you should get this, I'd go to the one above it. So Trevor would be like, buy this amp. It's great. It's $1,000. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get the $2,000 one because that means it's gonna be that much better.
Yeah.
And it was. All the shows were so. By the time we got the really good gear, the intimate evenings were nuts. They sounded amazing. They sounded really good.
Is there a best DZ Fest video?
I really
Or favorite, maybe not best, but favorite.
I really like the Esta Vivo
Yeah, it's a good
videos
one.
of like people getting on stage are really fun. Peekaboos have a good one of everyone on stage. The mosh pits for a bunch of bands actually had a bunch of really cool mosh pits that looked great.
How are these videos shaping up? Have you
The whole month of September, I'm gonna work on them. Yeah, been
Jeez.
waiting to get this move done.
have you seen any of them?
Yeah,
or-
I've seen they look awesome, and then Danny has some really good footage to like chop with
What's
it.
the status?
Oh, I forgot about that. That happened too.
What's the status on that? Or-
He's working on a clip to give to me
yeah, just like
soon
a
for a
clip or
promo,
whatever?
and then
Wow.
try to have it done by December. The whole thing.
You know what I thought, Eddie, as you were talking, was like, maybe you could agree with this or not, but how fun it is to be chilling by like the merch tent or whatever, and you see someone like lugging like 3 guitars, and you're just like, I'm helping that person. Like it's just fun.
No, yeah.
Hey, what's your name? What band? Oh, cool. You're a stage, whatever. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's. You need help? You know, like one
Yeah.
thing I truly enjoyed was being, and in no way am I taking any credit, but like to be not the face, but a face to a smiling face to show, hey, welcome, come on in,
Yeah.
let's get you set up. Hey, there's some beer for you, there's some water for you, whatever you need, let us know. Here's the merch. Like to hear a band who may have never been treated that well,
Yeah.
say,
Especially at
hey,
DIY shows.
thanks, like you guys
Yeah.
have an awesome. The amount of times,
Oh my god!
like
so
being
many
told
times
by
complimenting the
bands,
team.
like that's
Oh, yeah.
so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone with the red shirt has that mindset, you know, which
Yeah.
is so cool to see and so cool to be a part of, you know.
Yeah.
Because okay, I'll say it, like if they are never treated as good as they were at DZ Fest, I'll take pride in that. I don't want them to be mistreated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Well, it is a common
true, though.
problem. Like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
bands complain about
And
the
it
sound
doesn't
people
need
and
to be,
whoever it is
but-
interfacing with them being this
and,
way. Or
and
that
you
way.
are proof that it just doesn't need to be. Like
No.
who says, you know?
It's the like the game, which is it could be you could go all the way up to like corporate America to music industry, film industry. I don't know who made up these rules for this game, but it's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I'm like, I don't have anything or want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Like we can redesign the system of how things can be done.
Heck yeah.
Which has been like the goal, like what the future goal is like
Yeah.
to do that, to play off that.
Disrupted the industry.
Yeah,
Are we getting into the future now?
the industry is broken. Wait. So you weren't joking that 2015 on is just a blur. That's why I haven't talked about 2016,
I
17,
honestly
18, 19,
don't
20,
like. They're
21.
all one big year.
2016 is
It's hard
probably
for
the
me to like
craziest year.
break up the different memory, like
like
until
it-
they're like put in, until somebody like puts in.
Yeah,
some
if you name a
context, I'm like,
couple
oh,
bands,
yeah,
Maybe if you
yeah,
look at
yeah.
the posters.
Like 2018.
Oh, yeah, the posters help a
would
lot.
Definitely.
2016 was
Should've got a
the
picture of
biggest
all that.
turning point by far.
What was the biggest one?
2016.
Who was that?
40 bands, man.
But who? I don't remember it.
Donkey Hotel?
Oh,
Same.
Donkey
what was
Hotel.
it?
Missiles.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh
Oh,
wow!
yeah. Oh,
yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
White Mystery played 2015. That was huge
That
when
was
they played.
fun, yeah.
But 2016, it was because we went
Looking
to
around for
2 days,
posters.
and I'll never forget when I said,
Wait, was
"Let's do 2 days."
20?
Not good responses from my friends.
No.
Eddie looking down, scratching his head just now was like what everyone said was like, "Come on, like
Yeah.
we barely can get through one day."
That's the beauty too of like wearing a red shirt. Anyone with the red shirt, it's unspoken. All you gotta do is just look in each other's dead eyes,
Yeah.
and you're war buddies. Like you've been to
You're
war
war
together.
buddies.
I now understand like a small percent of that camaraderie that like the
in the trenches.
like someone in the military goes when
Yeah.
you are like you're suffering together when it's raining or it's too hot. things are falling apart. We're all in together.
You're definitely gonna piss someone off by saying that.
Why?
Make that percentage
I'm just-
small.
yeah.
I said the smallest
I know,
percent.
I'm
It's
just joking.
It's something.
But
Obviously,
no,
it's not the
yeah.
same thing, but it's like a
yeah.
form of when you suffer with your
Yeah.
friends together. It does something. It bonds you.
It's like being in a locker room, like a team or whatever. It's the
Exactly,
same-
for sure.
same
When you're
thing.
all like in
For
it
sure.
together, and like it's pretty overwhelming and very real. That
When you're
feeling.
dodging hammers in the rain together. And
I got.
What year was that?
What?
2020?
That was 2019,
19.
the hammer throw year. Thank God I learned how to do that camping.
So 16. So 16 was the biggest year.
So
you'd say?
2016
Apex Mountain.
was huge for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason was first time we do 2 days, 2 stages, 40 bands, double the bands, bigger art tent, bigger crew. Like I think the biggest crew we had was 2016. I think there was like up till this year, I think there was like 55, 60 people like helping. I know. There was a
Right,
lot of
yeah.
there was a lot of people who
What's
just
the
wanted,
actual number?
I was gonna say
What's the
probably
actual
20,
number?
probably a third.
I was gonna say like
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
people that come to mind.
You had to buy a lot of shirts, but not everyone.
Well, it was one of those things where it got so popular amongst like the friend group that people just want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But there was
And
people who
everyone
weren't
contributed.
really.
Everyone wants to be a part of it till you're a part of it, and then you got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of part of it's there.
Too many parts of it.
And so it was like the biggest year with that.
Who headlined 2016?
2016. It was the last time we played Wilshire, but it was a hard one because we didn't have a band member very recently leading up to that, which is why it sticks out to me. Also, some other stuff that I'm not going to bring up, but heavy stuff amongst friends and sad stuff amongst like personal things with friends. Very sad.
Songs
And then, the Peekaboos did play that year. That's the year you got on stage and sang
Was
with
that the
Fugazi
year?
with them. Yeah, 2016.
I would have never guessed.
Great
that.
year.
And then the
Great
biggest thing
moment.
was that was the year that it got
Apex
shut
Mountain.
down.
Great
The
moment.
police came and said we couldn't do it. That's why it sticks out because we overcame some stuff to pull that one off. It's the first
Was
year.
that the year? So was that the year they tried to shut it down during the show, or was that the
No,
year? The
they never
3
tried
days
shutting it
before?
out during.
Yeah, it was before.
Wasn't
In
there
2014,
one,
they showed up.
no,
and we
didn't
told
you
them we had
have
one
to-
left.
Okay,
But we just
but that's when
finished.
you like jumped off stage and like
Talked to the cop.
and then was like,
Right
all right,
back
one
on.
more
We
song.
were playing one more song. Yeah, we
One
only
more-
had like 2 left
One more
anyway.
17-minute song.
Yeah.
It was a 12-minute song.
We got one more officer. It's fucking 15
So
minutes
so
long.
16. All right, can I say something really quick? 16. It's when did you get the news? DZ Fest is
It's
Saturday
Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. You're right. It's Wednesday. I'm at work. Work's over. I'm doing yoga. I'm doing yoga at work because we used to do yoga at work. So I'm getting as centered and as zen. And I know it compares nothing to compares, but I'm in such a mode. It's Wednesday, DZ Fest coming out. Here we go. I'm feeling great. Done with yoga, packing up. Check the old phone-a-roo. Matt, DZ Fest is canceled. Just is the only text I have from you. And there goes any form of enlightenment that I had
Just ruined,
achieved
yeah.
just out.
Just out
And
the
I knew
window.
like texting you or calling you was not an option because you wouldn't have replied. So I just came over and I just remember everyone sitting outside.
It was like a funeral.
Just everyone filling everyone in. Yeah.
Trying to figure out
Like,
what the hell we're
what
going
do
to
we
do.
Like,
It was.
can we just do it anyway?
Well,
Like,
what
how
was
do we
hard
do
about
this?
it was it takes a lot of
Oh,
time to
man.
prep for it. So that interfered with the prep.
Yeah.
And now it's the first time we're doing 2 days, which is even more prep. So we needed that time, and we
So
were losing that time.
what triggered the cancellation in their eyes?
To the best of my knowledge, the stages were up, and a new city inspector.
City lawyer, I thought it was.
No, it was a city inspector. The city lawyer was the one who like printed out all the stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's another funny story. So a new city inspector who didn't know their place in my town. My grandfather built this town city inspector, and so did I with no permits. I'm moving, so I can say this stuff now.
Yeah.
0 permits ever. 70 years of no permits. What are you going to do about it? That's DIY. This house is always.
But like some turd drives by and is like,
this big old turd
What's
drives
this?
by and he goes, "I'm gonna upset this beautiful town."
they didn't get tipped off or anything?
No, he
That
was
you
just
know
driving
of?
by he was looking at one job.
Oh.
People who actually
He
got
just saw these
permits.
stages.
He saw
and
the
was like,
stages.
What the hell is
He's
going
like, "What is
on
going
here?
on?" Exactly. Went back, told probably had to talk with the city lawyer and mayor and those types of people, politics. And they printed out everything, and intern probably told the lieutenant at the time, he's retired, but
Intern.
at the time, what?
You just made that up. Is there an intern? Is there an actual?
No, what?
You cited an intern.
No, the word intern. Like
Intern.
Oh.
I thought he was talking. I thought an intern was like
No.
it was like doing the dirty work and contacting
no.
Ben on behalf of the mayor.
No, so the two
Like,
police
what the
officers
fuck?
walked up to the house. I remember looking at them through the window, and I was like, oh, no. So I go out there, and they felt so bad.
And
They
you
had
knew
so much
nothing
remorse.
until this point.
Knew
They were
nothing.
the
They were like, hey, man, we're
messengers.
so sorry, but you guys can have the fest this weekend. We were told you can't. I was like, why? It's like, listen, it's just what we were told. We're just the messengers. We're really sorry. We personally don't care. We think it's cool. We never have any issues, but we were told to tell you. It's like, all right.
Another cog in the perfect storm, having the cops. on your
Right. So
side.
I,
Just when we thought we had it figured out.
I did what every politician has to do. And I shaved my beard, cut my hair short, put on my nice clothes.
I forgot that you shaved and everything for this. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
I normally have a big beard with long hair at
usually
the
you
time.
like grow everything
Yeah.
out for it.
And did the opposite.
so
And I
funny.
went to the neighbor, told them. They're like, all right, let Dave next door. And he's like, all right, we're going to go tomorrow to City Hall and we're going to figure this out. Because they really love it. The neighborhood really
Yeah.
does. So the next morning, Dave and I and another neighbor go to City Hall. They gave us a runaround. The receptionist was evil. She must have had a rough life. I don't know what her deal was, but she was out to get us for no reason. She's just like, she can't do it. I'm like, why? She's like, you can't have a fest. I was like, is there a reason why we can't have it? And she's just like, I don't know. You got to talk to the mayor, and he's not here. I was like, can we talk to somebody else? Well, talk to the lieutenant, but he might not be in. I'm like, can you help us at all? She's like, no, you just can't do it. She was like, really, really did not want me to do it.
She's like a DMV worker. You're just
She was
miserable
miserable.
because your job and
I don't know what her deal was,
Yeah.
but she was not helpful or kind. And so we left there, went to the police department. They were giving us a runaround. He wasn't there. He's like, you come back. They were like, you had to come back the next day. Now we're losing time. We're losing day. So Wednesday was miserable. We're like, we're screwed. Thursday, we wake up 8 a.m. Dave, the neighbor, picks me up. We drive. Oh, man. We drive. We get in. We sit down in this guy's office, Lieutenant Tim Stevens.
This is a good story.
And he has all these photos and papers and things printed out from Facebook, Google.
like a
All-
Rico case.
Yeah, like a Rico case on DZ Fest. And the best one is this big image of Charlie stage diving on me on my neck
that
by himself. It's a
classic
great
picture
photo.
of him. Yeah.
It needs to be
the
like a
suicide
poster.
dive?
Like it needs to be printed like on the side of a building downtown, like something like that. It's
Yeah,
such a
that's-
cool
Who took that picture?
Brendan.
Brendan, yeah,
Brendan
probably.
did. It really hurt. I mean, he really did hurt me. I'm not gonna lie. So for those
During
listening,
whose
to
set?
paint an image for you, Charlie, who's made all the T-shirts for DZ Fest, he's helped out a lot. A good friend. He stage dove at the first DZ Fest, but nobody was there to catch him but me.
During
and
whose
I
set?
wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't looking. So he's just collides with my neck and shoulder with his arms behind him. He has nothing to brace. I don't know what he was thinking. It's so dangerous. He could have just killed. He just faced
You
it.
That's
know,
a gnarly
He's a
photo.
reckless guy.
It's Charlie.
right.
Yeah.
It's a great photo. So the lieutenant has that, and he goes, "Who is Charlie Lunsford?" Sorry, I just named Chuck Foley, but whatever. And I'm like, "Oh, it's my friend," and he's like, "Yeah." So he like had me explain the fest, so I did, and then we went through all the laws, bylaws of building code and everything, and apparently, in this unique serendipitous thing, Hickory Hills, and when I was doing and the codes they have, I wasn't breaking like any laws. And where it was very gray, where you can be like, yeah, you can just do it. Very gray, like how many people can you have on your property? I don't know. There's no rule against it, so it's like
Yeah.
because it's never a problem because people don't do this, so like
Yeah.
you don't face the problem.
Yeah.
And proper egress, it's like I don't know, we have a lot of space for emergency vehicles to get in, so it's like it's okay.
If you can get a food truck in, you can
Exactly.
ambulance in.
So we just couldn't charge or sell alcohol, which we didn't, and then we couldn't break. You had to have temporary structures, but it's like how long is temporary? You know, these last stages were up
And
for
you
9
like went
months.
through this beat by beat.
Yeah, and I was researching it the night before, making sure I knew what I was talking
Yeah.
about. So we did that. He's like, "All right, well, you're not breaking any rules, so as long as you can go back and get proper signatures and okays from all the surrounding neighbors, should do it. So I went back, talked to all the neighbors, got their signatures.
Did
signed.
anybody give you any?
No.
Were they all just
No.
like,
The
sure?
worst was I think someone was like indifferent, but everyone else
just
was
like,
like, oh, fine.
okay,
just
whatever.
like, I guess, like, sure. But nobody cared. And there was no issues from that day on, like zero, with law, with police. In fact, they ended up being very helpful. They would come after DZ Fest to like get people out properly. So they'd go to like the driveway,
Yeah.
shine their light, and just like get
It was
people out.
amazing.
Yeah.
Just people tend to do stuff dumb
Side
things when they
note,
leave.
Do
You
you
know?
want to talk about the time Eddie slipped the cop a 20? Or were you not?
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, I don't know
about.
what you're talking
I
about.
never
Okay.
bribed a police officer for the record.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Jokes were made after.
Oh, are you talking about this year
Yeah,
when I
when
went
you-
on? I just like leaned.
Hey,
It was a
what's
real
up,
power
boss?
move. I did that on purpose, but yeah, that was great. This cop came up
This
just to
guy.
like,
Oh, man.
I don't know what he was at. I forgot what he was asking. He was just asking about.
Didn't matter. Because
I just went up to him. I kind of like put my arm like in like the passenger side door, like window, and like leaned in or whatever to talk to him.
Oh, man, that was so
I couldn't hear him.
funny. I think it was me and John that were joking around and
don't
laughing.
Oh, so it's a
about
joke,
it.
saying like,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
slipped him a
Yeah, I
20.
slipped him a
Yeah, I don't
20.
think a 20 is gonna get you far these days with a cop.
Yeah, I know.
But the way, but you literally did just walk up without even a permission. You just boom.
Well, he
like-
was calling us over. He was asking.
Yeah,
he was
he
asking
wanted to-
something. I don't
yeah,
know what he
yeah.
wanted,
Oh,
but
that was so funny.
can't
There was
I
no
can't
issues
remember.
So
from that
funny.
moment
But
on.
anyways,
There's
yeah.
no issues.
Yeah.
They were really cool. One time we had to bring the porta potties at night back and forth, and they shine their light to like guide us. Just
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
cool
yeah.
I
about
forgot
it.
about that.
Yeah.
They were cool, but we were cool too. I mean, and you guys can vouch for this. Every night, all 10 years, in some capacity, we sent
cleanup.
everybody out to clean. Not everyone, but a lot of people is sent out into the streets to clean up the streets,
The walk of shame.
Yeah.
which ended
Cleaning up
up
garbage that wasn't even ours.
Yeah,
Just garbage that had
it
been there
ended
for a
up
week, probably.
working really well in our favor because there's a fun Hickory Hills like neighborhood watch that a bunch of moms are in, and one mom brought it up and was complaining about DZ. This happened 2 years ago. Was complaining about DZ last year, complaining about DZ Fest. Not in any bad way. She was just like, "What is this?" Like asking questions. How is this allowed? How is this legal? What is this thing? And everyone came to our rescue. Like, it's awesome. They're so great. And then this one person goes, they even clean up all the neighborhood before and after, and even stuff that's not theirs, and they make everything look good.
That's
She's
so
like, oh,
cool.
that's great. And I was like,
That's-
see, this is why you do it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you got to please everyone. Like,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
the police need to be happy, the city does, and so do the taxpayers, you know?
You're
What?
so checked out right now.
I got to use the bathroom.
Oh, go ahead.
An hour and a half is a long time for I drink this coffee.
Go use the bathroom. Matt, we're good.
You're so
I'm
checked out
fine.
right now. All right.
Go use the bathroom.
I
Cut.
picked up on
No.
a vibe.
We'll be here. All right, Matt,
no,
keep
no.
going. I got a
So-
question for you, Matt. I already asked Eddie, what has it been like for you, the 10 years? Manager Z, from the beginning to the end, you've seen all of it. I know, even when you had a family and a kid and you couldn't come around as much, for that weekend, you still always 100% blocked it out
It's-
and made it.
It's been the highlight of my year for 11 straight years, whatever. And
Yeah.
it truly has been like appointment viewing. And before pre-family and post-family, pre-family, it was a party, but understanding the task at hand.
Yeah.
But it was just it was, like I said before, every minute was the best minute.
Yeah.
And the next minute was even better than that last one. And it just got bigger and bigger. For a million reasons, just to see the good bands, at first, in my opinion, or in my view of it, was music. It was about not like about the music, but I put more emphasis on the music, on the bands, getting turned on to new music, experiencing bands that I already enjoy. But as it evolved, and I want to say maybe it was post-family, it became more about the hang, more about seeing people that I hadn't seen in a little while.
You're a union because you weren't around as much.
And it wasn't,
Yeah.
not being around as much. And so it became more about, oh man, I haven't seen Mark for so long. I can't wait for him to give me a hug and puncture a lung. Or I can't wait to talk basketball with Eddie. Or I can't wait to knock knees with Ash. Or, everybody. So it became, and in some ways quite literally, a family reunion.
Absolutely.
And the importance of that, You can't measure that. You can't quantify how important that is. But it got to mean so much. It's like that the year that it didn't happen, around like early
This is because of COVID.
July.
Yeah.
I started getting the blues.
Yeah. And I was so mad because it was such a good weekend.
Oh, right?
It was like
Yeah.
75 and sunny, like the whole week. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
I was so upset.
And
COVID.
I enjoy I've worked plenty of I've done things in my current job where it's like, all right, we got 10 hours to do 16 hours worth of work. Let's make it happen. And myself and my coworkers, we do it. And you know what I mean? Or a previous job I have, okay, I'm working an Ashley Simpson show, and I'm here for 7.5 hours talking to screaming tweens. It's just one of those things where you're in it. You're in it and you commit to it, and that's what DZ Fest is. You're in it. I don't want to be throwing out garbage for the next 48 hours, but I'm gonna. I don't want to be outside in 97-degree heat standing under a tarp. Why am I standing under this tarp? Because it's hotter under here. But I'm gonna. There's so much with how we talked earlier about just being in the foxhole with these people. I enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like doing that every day or every weekend or
Right.
every, but when it happens, it's just one of those things. You're just like, all right, here we go. Like, how are we going to figure this out? I don't know. We got to move a porta potty. I've never done that before. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing Brian has muscles,
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. Or it's raining. All right, I'm going to go to Ben for guidance. Whatever he says, that's what we're doing. Or, this band needs a load in. Let's get them in. I love that stuff. I love it so much. It's so much fun.
So you're gonna miss it.
Heck yeah, I'm going to miss it.
So 10 years of doing it, being a part of, being in the dirt, being a straight up soldier with this, and a lot of hard work, very stressful. But it's for a good reason that
Heck
it's
yeah.
not.
That's what makes it easy. Knowing the sum of the means of its parts are greater than the individual's means.
Yeah.
I don't know what the saying is, but you know what I
I know
mean?
what
Like,
you're
it's
saying.
like, it makes it all worth it. The 14 straight hours of being in it, it's all worth it because I got to see a cool band, or I made one person smile, or I helped a person, or,
Mm-hmm.
I gave Ben a cord when he asked for one. Like, it's just all worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it. There's something too, like it's a little thing, but it's a detail that I'm sure you guys would understand. Is after day one, that shower.
Oh my
Like, is there a better feeling?
Honestly, the shower every night, because all those days are 16-hour days.
Yeah.
It's
Like
such a
Wednesday,
good-
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is just it's rough.
Yeah.
I don't remember what year it was, but I spent the night here once.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't remember. It was an earlier one.
Must have been, yeah.
And I didn't shower.
Ugh.
Ugh.
And I was just, it was
The whole
a
day, the
miserable
next day,
sleep.
you were just.
I don't think it was for a 2-day. Maybe it was a 2-day fest. I don't remember which fest.
If it was early on, probably not.
But I remember. But either way, there was work to be done the next day.
Yeah.
But I didn't shower, and I don't know why I did. Like, why not just go home? I don't.
Some people are
remember.
troopers. Like
But
Trevor would
man.
sleep in the sound head all weekend, every year.
And
Insane.
Or people that would sleep on the stage. Like, I don't
Stage.
understand how people
Danny
do
would
that.
camp.
Oh, man.
Like,
Yeah.
I always got to go straight back to a bed somewhere.
Same.
But there's people who would like sleep in this or that pad, or sleep in a tree. Like, people just troopers, which
This
I'm
is
grateful.
the first year I had to drive home. Like, I had to
Oh,
drive
yeah.
home. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Besides that, I either slept here or had a bed 3 houses away.
Yeah, it's
Who's played the most? And don't answer. Band
I
wise,
probably shouldn't answer.
I have a guess of Matthew McNeil. Do you have a guess?
Does Wilshire not count?
Wilshire counts,
Wilshire.
but they only played like 4 though, right?
That's still more than.
But Matthew McNeil's played. I feel like he's played 7 or 8.
No.
But I guess if you include the intimate evenings, maybe.
You count just the band or individual people?
Well, we know the individual people, but the bands.
The
Okay,
band,
which
yeah.
Band?
If it's individual people, we know the answer.
Yeah.
It's Sex Guy.
Think it might be, it's either Esta Vivo or Matthew McNeil, because I'm pretty sure Esta Vivo played 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, so 6 years.
Dang.
And then I believe that Matthew McNeil played 16, 17, 18, 19, and 22. So wait, 16, 17, 18, 19. They played 5.
Dang.
So it might be Esta Vivo.
If you count intimate evenings, because what is
Oh, if you
McNeil
count,
done,
it's
like
them.
5 or
It's
6?
them.
Yeah.
They have like a,
That's so awesome.
yeah,
That's
for
so
sure
cool.
them.
Played here a lot.
Who have you? Do you have a white whale? Do you have a band that you tried but couldn't? And I'm not talking like
Couldn't in what
Sonic
way?
Youth or whatever. Like
They
book to
didn't.
book.
Yeah, they couldn't. They never played DC Records.
yeah.
Like they couldn't or they
couldn't,
wouldn't,
wouldn't, shouldn't, whatever. But you
Well,
tried and tried.
I don't want to
and
answer
tried.
that one. There's a
Oh.
lot of those who
Well,
wouldn't.
But I mean, but not like not like Trent Reznor wouldn't answer my email. Like
No, but that's a loaded question because if I actually say who would, I'm throwing people under the bus.
Oh, okay.
It's the music industry. Like,
I thought this was a tell-all, but it's okay.
well, there's plenty of bands.
Off the record.
Yeah,
Off the record.
This is all-
There are plenty of bands that I've reached
We'll
out to
edit this
for a
out.
decade that just
didn't
they won't
reply.
play, they
Yeah.
snub you, they ignore you. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've sent a couple of 2-3 emails in my day.
What was the latest cancellation? Like
The latest,
you're supposed to
Oh,
play
like
Saturday at 7. You
the-
called me at
the
6:45
day
and
of.
said I couldn't.
the day of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had a couple day ofs. That's where.
Let's
That's
throw
why
them
it's
under
always
the
been
bus.
good to be in like 3, 4, 5 bands at the same time. Because like, guess we're playing.
Yeah.
It happened with Trevor. It happened with Afterglow. Like,
Yeah.
just throw a band up there. We always know like we got one in the. We got an extra. But Vinny,
Got
Vinny
a band
played-
in our back pocket.
Exactly. Vinny go play solo. Someone dropped out. Like it works perfect.
Yeah.
Best set, best live performance
That I witnessed or that I was in
witnessed.
witnessed.
You're next.
I mean, holy crap. That's a probably. Man, that's a really hard one because there's been some awesome ones. I think probably I could narrow it down to about 4 for
it.
sure. Estevivo,
Sounds like a Mount Rushmore to me.
Estevivo, Avantis,
Indeed. is a
Peekaboos,
Mount Rushmore.
and probably. I'm trying to break that one down further.
It's
Probably
hard
those
not
3.
to have a recency bias, but that last Matthew McNeil set was
It was great.
pretty
That was
awesome.
full
Yeah.
band
That
too.
last Lollygagger set was pretty awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
It was intense.
I really, really liked Yada Man's performance this year with everybody on stage. That was really cool. Really cool. It's hard. I mean, yeah, there's been hundreds. I mean, I don't know. I think if the math's correct, you have 6 years of 2 stages. So that's 240 bands right there. Another 20 from 2015, so it's 260. Then you do 15, so 275. So almost 300. Almost 300.
Courtney's played.
Courtney played. Almost 300 bands.
Where did they go?
So-
so good.
Where did they go?
Man.
Yeah,
What about
a
you,
lot of
Ed?
performing.
Do you have a favorite performance? set?
Yeah. Well, yeah, probably. The Peekaboos probably set when you were on stage was a really that whole set was really good.
2016
Yeah,
was
that's when he
wild.
had like the American flag cape thing on. Yeah, that whole set's really good.
What
There's a
year?
lot of footage. There's a lot of
2016?
footage of that. I think you recorded the whole thing.
To
So
which
that
I've never
may
seen.
have may be why I like it so much because I've seen a lot of it. But we're all having a ton of fun.
Man.
And like we were all big fans of the
I-
Peekaboos, and
I-
they were playing a lot, and
I couldn't enjoy that set
you were too nervous
because I was off to the side of the stage just
no one
vomiting.
knew. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, people knew.
I
I didn't know.
I literally think just the band and I. 'Cause,
Really?
like, but not that it was like, oh, it's a secret
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything. But
yeah.
it was just like, hey, you gonna do this? Yeah, let's do this. All right, let's do this.
Yeah, that was a good time. Really
That
fun.
was nuts.
A lot of fun.
That was nuts.
Mm.
I'm biased, but Terror is one of my favorite
It's a
bands
good one.
ever.
Terror is
But they
great.
might be one of the best bands to ever do anything on the premises. They're so good.
I have a really
On the
funny,
premises.
really funny story about them. We
hear
did 2 EPs here,
2 of the greatest EPs.
And one of the EPs,
I'm serious.
when they were going to pay me for my services, we went to their van in my driveway, and they literally were just like finding cash like in different places of the van and like paying me in change and cash, like finding it in like nooks and crannies in the
Paper
van.
clips.
It was so
great.
funny.
That's
They're like,
great.
is this all right? I was like, yeah, this is amazing. Like,
If
you're
it's
paying
currency.
me, you're finding dollars like hidden in like nooks and crannies.
It's like they didn't know they were.
Hey, it was great. It was
good
like
stuff.
ridiculous.
What did you not get to accomplish?
Ooh, man.
The
Great
the
question.
3-day 3-stage is what I wanted to get to.
Thank God.
Oh my F.
You would have had to have a different 2 teams. It would.
Yeah, I mean, the plan was to do it and have like 80 volunteers and have multiple teams where you have days off.
The volunteer group would have revolted.
Wait,
against-
the goal
they
was to
did.
do that with
God,
3 teams. One Friday, one Saturday, one
But
Sunday.
would
Yeah.
Friday have been a 12-hour slog, or would that have been like 5 p.m. to?
Yeah, so it would have been Friday, would have been like a 4 or 5. And the days would have started later too. It would have been like, instead of noon, it would have been like
you imagine?
2. So it would have been like
I'm
Friday
tired
starts
just
at
thinking
4,
about
it. Right?
and then Saturday and Sunday are like 2 starts.
Imagine Saturday being Sunday.
Then Sunday would be like, oh god,
That was the
because
goal,
that
but whatever.
soreness you get, like, just amplified. So
I
how
will-
close
I really
was
think that 3 days and it just could have like too much is too much. Like some,
Yeah,
diminishing returns or something. You know,
I
I
agree.
mean,
You know what's one thing that's not complained about enough? There's the physical fatigue, that like my ankles and my feet, but the audio fatigue, like
You call it listener's fatigue.
you're getting pounded by amplification.
yeah.
If it's not this side, it's this side.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to roam. I was thankful to be a manager
For real,
because I'd
it's
step
good to
out
get
front
out of
for a
the
couple
way of the
minutes.
speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I'd step up
yeah.
front.
That's where I like
and
where I'm
just
at
chill.
because I have headphones on like most of the time, which
Yeah.
is great. Blocks a lot of sound. I'm also lower, so like the sound hits the walls. I'm like
Yeah.
below them, which is helpful, and I'm far enough away.
yeah.
But it's also because I'm checking levels, but it's also like it allows me to block out the world and just relax for like a minute at a time.
Yeah.
I'll get 1 minute break here, 1 minute break
Yeah.
there. People not talking because it's like everyone has like a very specific job. Maybe you do a couple one-off things when you're doing it, but like I don't even know what my job is there. It's just everything. Like it's everything there ever was is the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exhausting. I can't put in the words what Monday feels like. It's rough.
You didn't exist Monday.
I didn't get out of bed till 4.
Wow.
Then I went back into bed at 5 and
You
slept
came.
till 7.
Yeah, you came back right Monday for a little bit, I think. Yeah.
Well, I slept here Sunday.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And
That's
so I
what
was
it
here
was.
Monday morning,
you
and
were
then I left like Monday
definitely-
afternoon.
Yeah.
The Mondays are really.
So-
it takes me a couple weeks to recuperate.
How close did 3 and 3 become?
It never came
It was
close.
just all
just
up there?
because, yeah, just like I would test the waters, hear ideas, because that's the best way something works. Like you definitely have to have the idea, and it's got to be a little ridiculous, but you got to still test it and see like what
where
do people
would
think.
where would the third stage have been?
So it's gonna be one main stage here in the yard facing that way, and then one like at the end facing like that way using like Dave's yard, and then one facing that way using like that yard.
Smaller stages, or would they have been the
About
same?
the
as-
same size, but not like the main like.
What would
bigger
the third
acts.
stage have been called? Stage D, Stage Z, Stage Fest, DC Fest,
I forget.
Never got that far.
Stage 3.
Oh, I remember now. It's a small joke. Like I was gonna call it the platform stage.
Oh,
Mm.
that'd have been cool.
After the platform and the tree.
That'd have been cool.
Mm-hmm. Matt's looking at his
Did-
phone.
I know.
Did okay?
Well, to ask questions.
Where are
will
we
you,
at here?
Will
2
you help
hours?
me with you ready for a quick left turn?
Sure.
Did okay? Help me out here.
Okay.
I need your
I
assistance.
want to help you out.
Did Grandma ever force you to watch Gone with the Wind?
Yes. And San
Ex-
Francisco.
Explanation in San Francisco.
No, and the movie San Francisco.
All right, explain.
And a bunch of Julie Garland movies. Like
Judy Garland.
like Little Blue Bird.
Yeah.
Dude, those movies are weird. I can't believe the industry started. That poor girl, freaky stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Messed up.
really pedophile-esque things.
Oh, yeah.
Grooming and weird, not good. But what were you asking? Ask why?
Why?
Why did she show me?
Why did that happen?
I don't know. I was like 6, 7.
Did she do that for John and Nicole too?
I think it's because I was always just with her, and she was like, "You should watch like old cinema to like know that what it was like." I don't know.
Did she not make you watch these?
No, I wish somebody would have made me watch.
it was just you?
this stuff.
I was with her all the time. She lived here.
Yeah.
I was at Winona with her all summer, every summer.
What do you remember about Gone with the Wind? Watching it?
Not much.
No.
I remember being very
Have you seen
bored.
it since?
No.
No.
I remember being very bored because it's very long. And I was very over it. A 6-year-old is not going to understand Gone with the Wind, especially after 6 years removed from that type of acting and film and technology. It's like so hard to get into. But I watched a lot of those movies, Shirley Temple movies and old time movies.
Do you think that planted a seed?
I think so, but my dad also watched a ton of movies and was always into them. He always brought us to the
Tribute to
movie
your
store
dad real
get
quick?
stuff. What do you think I get it from?
That was good.
How am I supposed to sit still if he can't?
That was literally the first question when I was like, I'm gonna start writing down questions. That popped into my head for some reason. And
really
then all
funny.
the other. Did you? Did we touch on the COVID year? How you felt? We kind of did.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I was not happy.
do you have any advice for the next 20-something-year-old attempting to do this? I'm sure you got a list of what not to do, but what advice would you give? The new buyer has a son.
The advice I would
Or
give
daughter.
someone they shouldn't take.
Like what?
Nobody should do this ever.
So you're saying
Not like
back
this.
off?
Not like this.
Back off.
There's a reason why no one does it like this. There's a reason
Yeah.
why. It is the risky. It's like going to Vegas and going, all right, 50 grand on red, 25 every single time.
You have
It's so risky.
A 40% chance of hitting red. Is that it?
No, the number and the color.
Oh,
You didn't say
It's
that.
1 in 36, 1 in 37.
Okay, something worse. Whatever has the worst odds ever.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't play roulette.
Whatever has the worst odds ever. I mean, it's why I don't gamble. It's why I don't have a need to gamble,
Oh man.
The whole thing's a gamble every time.
So that's your advice? Great, Ben. It's nice.
I'll give advice, but it sounds
the mic.
it's going to sound insane. All right. Take 90% of everything you make and only spend it on this.
That's your
Don't go out. Don't have a social life. Don't date. Don't do drugs.
Sacrifice.
Dating's expensive. A partner costs money. Like, don't do anything but this for a decade.
A partner costs money. That just sounded funny.
It does. People
Yeah.
don't do anything everyone else is doing ever for a decade. It's like it's ridiculous when you say it out loud. That's the only way to do it. You have to learn how every system works. You have to be an adult when you should be a kid. You have to invest everything into it. You have to it's crazy, honestly.
When would preparation for the next DZ Fest begin? Was it literally the day
For
after
which?
the last fest?
Well, it depends on what year. As more recent ones, it met before the end of the first one.
What did this
What's
last
happening?
DZ Fest mean to you?
Well, it meant a lot, and for many different reasons, but it was really hard to take it in because, unfortunately, there was so much going on that I had to focus on selling this house, a documentary. There's a crew living here for 7 weeks, filming everything I did, and my friends around me. 35 interviews happening here, night and day, all the time. So that was there's a lot of that going on. My mom and dad, stressing me about selling the house. Figuring out the 10th, just trying to do DZ Fest, which is already hard. And then moving people out. I had roommates leaving. Figuring out where I'm going to live right after that was up in the air, a place for the studio. So it was so much going on. I unfortunately could not take it all in a meaningful. I wish I could have, but it meant a lot to see how much more people came out for it. People coming from all over the country, Florida, Baltimore. Bands from New York, all of that meant a lot. And then to know that it went smoothly, it was wrapped up, no one got hurt, everything went well, and it was all captured very well in 4K for this documentary. It's what's crazy. And I'll probably have a better understanding of it when I get to see it because you can't live it when you're that busy.
Did you feel like it was mission accomplished?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely felt that way.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What
It's a
did it
good
mean to
feeling.
you?
Man, don't ask me these types of questions.
Come on, Ed.
Philosophical
I need that
questions.
brain. Give me the
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah, what did it mean to you?
It meant the end of it finally. No. Thank the Lord. No. I mean, it just capped off 10 years of building relationships or relationships are already there, I guess. But
You built a massive friend group. And extended friend group.
Yeah, and it was just something that won't ever happen again. So it meant a lot. The 10th, it meant a lot this year. It definitely did. It had a different feeling like to it. A different energy. Did. You could feel it with the volunteers. They knew it was the last one.
Yeah. I think that's why probably
a lot of the guests who had been coming the last 10 years or whatever. You could just feel it that it was the last one.
Yeah.
That's been the coolest thing. Like it came to the point where I do not know the people. Nobody knows the people. Like, you don't know this person. I'll just say there's a person. Eddie does it. No one knows them. They're coming here. They love it. It's like the coolest thing to them. They put it on Instagram. They tag it. And we don't know them, and this is like the coolest thing. And that's where it gets weird when like they're not like, oh, Matt invited them or Eddie knew him from work.
Yeah.
It's just random people that none of our friends, family knows. They've never been to Hickory Hills. This town and this house means nothing to them. They just want to go to this event because they heard about it. They love it. And one time, it was like a couple days after DZ Fest, and Trevor was talking about like, man, there's so much work. Like, what do we do this for? And I just like showed him an Instagram post of some random person I don't know posting like, oh, we're so like DZ Fest is our favorite thing to do. But ever since so and so showed me it 4 years ago, I went every year, both days. It's my favorite thing. Sent a bunch of cool photos of it from their patron perspective on the ground, on some blanket. And was like, I discovered all these cool bands from this. And like, it's like a long paragraph. And I just showed him that. Like, that's why. Like, I don't know who this person is. And this is like the coolest thing to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that. They're not the only one who thinks that too. So.
Taking down stage Z while the last deer was going on Sunday was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
That was not fun. That's
It was weird. And the thing is that you also I personally don't have time to even get emotional because like I can't stop. Like, there's so much to do. You can't just like sit there and like get sad. You have to like keep going. It doesn't end. It doesn't even end when it ends. I have to get rid of all this stuff. I have to put everything back. Like, it's so much work afterwards. It's a whole month from start to finish of just physically doing stuff.
Did you shed any tears?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Same.
Yeah.
While we were on the stage, I was probably tearing up a little bit, and then, like you said, we were sitting on the other stage watching like the last performance. And you're just like, wow.
Came down here to put away a couple, like the last couple chords, set them down, and just like stopped, and just gave a quick look around. And it just
even right now.
I'm trying to hold it together.
You know how many podcasts you did in this basement?
Trying to.
You know how many bands played and were filmed, and how many shows? Like, the camera can't show it, but this was the stage. Like, everyone performed and played this way.
Do you have a favorite intimate evening? How many of them were there?
There's a lot. I mean, almost every
20?
Besides the summer months, way more than 20. Almost every month from 2013.
Oh, yeah, they were monthly.
Dude,
until COVID.
Jesus.
COVID
it
was
really
the thing that
seemed like
stopped
there
it.
was no break from them at some points. Like, not in a bad way either. It was I enjoyed them. I looked forward to the intimate evenings. It was something to do or whatever, but
Especially
it was like
in the winter.
Yeah, it would just be like, oh shit, it's intimate evening weekend again. Okay, cool. I know what I'm doing this Friday or whatever,
There's
Saturday.
A couple years span where it was insane.
Yeah,
like what you're
and then
saying.
it would just be like people I don't even know here. 60 people. I know a good 20, 25, 30. Maybe more. But like there's 20, 20, 30 people here I don't even know.
Do you have a favorite one?
I really, really loved the Halloween ones.
Halloween was
for sure
always
because they were always the biggest ones.
Always great.
It's always the best
evenings.
weather for it. It's not snowing. It's not hot. You don't want too hot. You don't want too cold. So you have like this perfect balance where you can turn off the heat and air. It's extra quiet, and you can just kind of have that. It's always the rowdier shows. Everyone dresses up. There's webs. It's all decorated. It's like super crazy looking.
Yeah, Halloween was always a good one.
Those are fun. Definitely.
But there was a couple years there when it was insane. From 2015 to 2018, there was an event of some kind every single month, sometimes twice a month if you count the comedy shows.
Yeah.
For like 3 years straight. Like, it was just
Crazy.
nonstop. It was just boom, boom, boom. August, September, October, November, Winterfest, and this, and this, and this. And then
Just people here all the time.
and these are on Saturdays, right?
Folk
but guess what
Fest
Sundays were? I had sessions. So I have to put the whole basement back together because I changed this studio for a show. Then I got to put it back together and film bands all day.
Oh no!
And then like do it all. It was insane. It was so crazy.
That's
it was so hard.
That is so funny. Nobody has that life. Who lives this?
I miss the intimate
Nobody.
evenings. Loved them. They were so much fun.
They were fun.
They're just great shows.
I think the most memorable one was it was March 2016. It was the 200th episode, Friends of Music one we did with Hype played the album release. Peekaboos had an EP release.
Wow.
Avantis did, and the Leafy Greens. And two of them were recorded here. And everyone had like a release. And it was the one that the Peekaboos, we turned on the lights and we had that crazy mosh. We have it on videos, Vol and they had, everyone got on. I was terrified. And the mics are going, everything was a hot mess. Beers going everywhere.
Was
Matt
that when
threw up after.
Was that when Avantis did
Build a Prison.
prison
song?
Wow.
Yeah.
What a show.
It was a wild
That was
one.
a good show.
That was a wild one.
That was a really good show.
And that's the cool thing is like all this stuff exists. Everything we're talking about is on YouTube. Like all
There's
those shows,
documentation,
it's
yeah.
all
Heck yeah.
documented, which is like the coolest part.
That's really cool.
I didn't realize until many years later. It's like, wow, like this YouTube channel just documents this whole like life, my whole life.
Yeah.
I could like look back on it.
I almost asked what's the goal of the documentary, but that's not a question for you. That's a question for them.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, their prerogative, their narrative, like what they're doing, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm completely detached from
That's
all
good.
that. Just for, yeah,
great.
you have to. I
Yeah.
told them, I was like, let's do it, but I'll facilitate. Like, yeah, you guys can stay. Or I made like this was their studio for the 7 weeks they're here. I didn't really do much down here, so they had this spot. They did the interviews here, most of them. All their editing they did there. They stayed in the back in the cabin, so they had their own private spot, which was great. No one stepped on each other's toes.
Did you give them the dirt, Ed, when they interviewed you?
All of it.
I have no idea what anybody
Too much.
said. I don't know what's going on.
Most of it won't even make it.
But yeah, there was,
man,
for those
that's
listening,
funny.
there was a documentary made capturing everything. 7 weeks, a friend of mine who's been hanging out here and coming to DZ Fest. I've known him for 17 years, Danny. So he's perfect for it because he knows everyone, but he's super detached from it. So he's not very biased on anything, but he at least knows everyone. He can navigate really well. And he's not this like, you almost can feel more comfortable talking to someone like them because you kind of know them versus some random dude who just comes in. You have no idea who it is.
Yeah.
It's hard to like open up to that.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And there is many goals, I think, from my perspective. One is just to show the world the story of something that it's just not very common. I'm not going to say this like exactly like this. Yeah, I don't think this has ever happened like exactly like this. People starting festivals. So then it gets great because, yes, many people started festivals. But there's two things that happen usually really quickly because, again, it's impossible to do this for 10 years. That's why giving advice, it's like, you have to be crazy. They usually do like one or two, and either they stop or they go
Or it gets-
corporate.
yeah.
Or they move it to like a place that already has the infrastructure set up, like a bar or theater or something. They don't keep doing it that way. Or the other thing happens where they don't grow and they just stagnate because they're not innovating. They're not trying something new. They stay.
Yeah.
But you don't really get that middle, like which is what's happening right now.
So then, what is the future
Well, the future
of DC
hopefully
Records?
McDonald's
DZ
Fest.
Records, McDonald's Fest of DZ Records.
Sponsored by whom?
I don't know yet. DZ Records just have a studio in Chicago, and same thing: record bands, live videos, podcasts, albums, EPs, voiceovers, whatever it is. That's audio video. The same thing, just at an establishment that's not a basement.
What is the future of the festival?
And then the festival, the goal, because nothing is 100% set in stone, but there's an insane amount of connections going on and things turning and a lot. It just has to get locked in. And that's why I'm moving to the city so I can lock it in, is to do it at a park in Chicago. It's most likely going to be on the south side somewhere. South
Douglas
side,
Park?
southwest side. Not Douglas Park. But I will talk about
Marquette
that.
Park?
I will talk about some things that
You will talk?
what do you mean?
Wait, what did you just say?
I don't know. You should probably listen.
This guy.
So
This guy.
to do it at a park in the city,
we're recording. Looks like we are.
to do it at a park in the city,
Okay.
try to grow it there as far as the bands, the reach.
Have you scouted locations? Has it gotten
Yes.
to that point?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Scouted a lot of things.
Yeah.
And another thing, like, I know it can't keep going the way it did here. People are like, why are you leaving? It works great. It's like, I can't expect Eddie to do this forever.
It had a finite time.
I can't do
always
it forever.
Why?
It's too.
Eddie's here.
You really want to know
I'm
why?
here.
Because it might give me a heart attack. I literally might die. Like, it's that
There
stressful.
you go.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. And I just can't deal with it anymore. You hire companies to do this stuff. You don't have to worry about
to
those things.
say
Not in the same
then,
way.
to bill this last DZ Fest as the last DZ Fest.
It's the last one here, which is
last
how I
one.
always word
I
it.
know.
Is the final
The last
DZ
one
Fest
here.
at DZ Records. This land, this plot is DZ Records. The whole
Why
thing.
was it so sad?
Because you're going to show up to the next one. You'll just be a patron. That's it.
I'm not gonna work it.
You are not. No one's working it. I'm working it, but no one else is working
Why
it.
not? What if I want to work it?
What are you going to do?
I don't know. What do you want me to do? What
Do
I
you
do
work
before?
for the company that's getting hired to do it? Oh, man. No, you don't. That's why,
expect
man.
me
You
to
have your
sit there and
VIP.
watch?
You have your VIP pass.
Hey,
Just
get
go
your
hang
VIP
out,
pass.
dude.
You and Hugo, you can finally hang out with them.
No, because then I'd have to actually like sit and listen.
You didn't know
to
this, man?
bands?
Yeah, I
No,
know. This was the whole
right?
thing.
Yeah,
you didn't come
like-
to this realization.
You didn't
huh?
realize that it
you
was-
knew? That,
Yeah. I wouldn't do it if you asked. You kidding me?
I don't want to go there and just look at things.
You're
I
not.
wanna-
You're going to enjoy it, finally. Actually,
What if I don't want to enjoy it?
you're going to love it. You're going to hang out. You're going to hang out with. It's going to be another reunion where you get to just hang out.
Will it be next summer?
That's the goal.
You're the worst, Benjamin.
It-
what am I gonna do
you-
with
you
myself
can't-
if I'm not running garbage and like hobnobbing?
You're hanging out. You're getting food. You're hanging out with people. You're meeting bands. You're doing stuff most
No
people
one's
don't
gonna
get to do.
care if I don't have a red shirt on. No one's gonna care,
It's true.
right?
You're just another guy.
Right, Jack, man.
Now you
Or
know
just
why people have
another
a hard
music
time retiring,
festival
Matt.
attendee.
Now you know why people have
Right.
a hard time retiring. Like, what am I gonna do?
We look forward to the future, Benjamin. We cannot wait for DZ Fest 2023.
23. Fest 11. Yeah, it's gonna be in
we
Chicago.
hope that it's minimum 2 stages, 40 bands, but we'll take what you give us.
I'm gonna try to do double 84 stages.
Good God.
What do you guys worry? Just show up
Yeah,
and
and
have
we
fun.
don't have to do anything. What are you gonna do?
Make sure it all happens.
Like DZ Fest, like on the ground that day. What
Day,
What will you be doing? You think?
so
Would you be running sound or a company would be?
no company running sound. But guess who works at that company? Joe, who's ran sound
Yeah.
many times. So yeah,
Are you gonna be in the sound booth though, or do
I-
you think you'll be doing other things?
I
you think it'll be like networking, like
Yeah.
kissing babies and stuff. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
got
shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah,
Dang.
what a life.
That's it's hard to imagine.
Matt's scratching out last questions because now he's come to the realization that he's not going to be doing
His next
anything.
question. So what's my role next?
Yeah. That question's
But
out. That
to go
question's
to go
out, that
further with it, it's
question's out.
to do this also in other cities.
Yeah.
The concept of
Yeah.
you take sponsorship money. I don't know who yet. There's a lot of people in talks. We take sponsorship money, and instead of the event promoters, people who put it on, making a gross amount, you get your salary, but the rest you put towards the infrastructure of the neighborhood that you're within. The fest itself, you can pay the employees better. You pay the bands more. Same concept. Everyone still gets like a song filmed and stuff like that, but everyone gets paid better. The gear's still going to be there, but probably rented instead of this. Things like that. So just a bigger version of this, but then do it in other cities like New York, Dallas, Fort Worth, Seattle, LA, Chicago. Same thing.
Do you think you'll still partner with Argo and still keep that
Yeah,
going?
man,
Yeah.
that worked out really well.
That was
This
a lot of fun last.
this
year.
last one, it was crazy. There's like 350 people.
There were that many people?
Yeah.
Oh man.
There was like at like this peak at like it was early. That's the thing. We're just fine tuning how to do that because they really like it because they want to make it like bigger and get more students involved.
Yeah,
And make it like
They
a
should just
thing.
do it on the football field. Oh, wait, it's in the winter.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And what makes
Get a
it
giant tent.
What makes it so much easier is the infrastructure setup. It's Like like I just show up
Yeah.
with this stuff, but everything else is done already.
Yeah.
They have, so it's like now the lighting, the power. That's what makes Easy Fest so hard. We have to create the thing.
Yeah.
It's on a flat piece of open land. We have to create a world within a world. Like it's a lot of work to do that.
Yeah.
That already has it done. That's why a lot of festivals, the easier way out, it's not as cool looking and whatnot, but it's when they just do it at places that exist already. You know, it's to be honest, it's just not as cool, but it's like it's a lot less work. You don't have to build the structures. You know,
When what year did people stop asking? Hey man, can my brother's band play? Or did they not stop asking?
it ebbs and flows. I mean, it's
What you should do is
it's translated how it gets to me. Now it's an Instagram message for somebody like the day before. Hey, can I play? It's like
You probably got this, Matt, too. Like, would people message you and ask you if like they can play or like this or that? I would get that.
in the early days.
And I'd be like, bro, who do you think I am? Like, you think I'm like, I don't know, like.
That's so funny. Yeah,
Even recently?
Definitely in the early days.
No, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened recently, no. But
yeah, I mean, it's been, but that's the crazy thing. It's like
happened with like the art tent this year.
Okay.
Yeah, someone like messaged me. I'm like, not the right guy, but
It's tricky
only
because
manager.
people
Sure.
reach out, but it means a lot. Like you don't know somebody, and some random person on Instagram goes, "Hey, can I play your thing?" It's like, I'm sorry, it's filled already. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, don't they? They only messaged because they saw the poster was posted. So like, what do they?
Yeah.
They not realize that it's filled? Or I don't know. It's a little too close to an event to be still booking. Like they might not understand the logistics of how to do this. You can't just you don't
that's
book
usually it. People don't really get
it.
what it takes. Or
Usually, like it's kind of figured out by January.
Yeah.
You know, and then it takes 3 months to actually hone in on it.
I don't think I want to ask that, but yeah, whatever. No, because.
But Matt, are you coming to DZ Fest Brooklyn? Is a real question.
There's no way.
There's no way I'm going.
I'll go. I'll be there. Matt's not making it.
Matt, I'll fly in just for the weekend. Bring Hugo. First airplane trip.
When will this be?
The goal is
2024.
fall.
Oh, this like in 3 months?
No, like 2023 fall.
3 months. It's like a month.
Fall 2023.
3 months.
is
It'll
the
be
goal.
January.
What about the podcast, Benjamin? What's up with Bending Brains?
You're on
Still
it right
going?
now. What are you talking about?
Oh, I thought this was.
It's still going, but because it's like for fun,
You just do
it's been
whatever you
quite
want.
a
Do you have any in
busy
the
last
can?
2 months.
Who's coming out or?
Who's coming out?
Yeah, like you have any
No,
coming
not
out?
in the can. I have a bunch that I'm gonna do in the city. I'm just waiting to go do it there.
Whom?
A immigration lawyer, my friend Mark, which is gonna be great.
Interesting.
It's gonna be really interesting. He knows a lot, and it's pretty dark. It's gonna be good. A couple other people, couple of 2-3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the least important thing right now. So it's like just put it on the back. There's no rules. Put it on the back burner and start doing it again.
Yeah.
Not beholden to anything.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but what I wanted to talk more about the fest is a lot of the festivals that exist now, and I'll just say who they are because, I mean, there's a lot that do it. I'd say almost most do it based on my experience, but something like Riot Fest, Pitchfork, don't do the best job with the neighborhood and what they do before, during, and after at all. Like, I'm being nice right now. They kind of suck, to be honest. And I already knew that, but I didn't realize how bad it was. So I'm going to apply the way I've been doing it and then just make it way more and get the neighborhood involved, give back way more money to it, help it out.
In order to do something like that, won't you need 2 people that
A couple of facilitators.
will have to make the walk around the neighborhood with the garbage
Well,
bag?
so the walk around the neighborhood thing with the garbage, it's like we can get the National Honor Society kids as part of the community service to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and through the high schools that are related to me or in any capacity. So
Child labor.
community service so they can graduate and just do better with it and take care of the neighborhood, talk people. I don't know if you're in a Spanish speaking community, maybe you get a translator, obvious things like that. So just, I'm trying to be give away information but be cryptic at the same time. And
I'm shocked you've given up this much.
it's going to be way better, this system. Everyone's going to benefit from the neighborhood, the aldermen, the police, the bands, the security, anyone working. Everyone will rise and be better off. And then the way it's done now, like every system with corporations, is like, the top 3 people, someone who would be me, I'd be the millionaire, and then you guys get your $18.50 an hour. It's like, no, not happening. It's not going to be like that. Yeah. It's tempting to see that, to know that it could be that, but that's like the problem.
Have you watched either of the Woodstock 99 documentaries?
I did.
Both of them?
Learned a lot from that one.
Right?
The one on Netflix was insane.
I haven't seen it yet.
Watch it. It's crazy.
No.
It's a good learning experience.
I keep having to. I have to watch
what
it.
those guys did, they were idiots for what they did. They were really bad event promoters and showrunners, like stupid.
Yeah.
Gave all those candles to people.
Oh my God.
Why'd you do that? I know the idea, the sentiment was nice.
But yeah.
Like they wanted to do, I think, a memorial for Columbine, but it's like you can't give hundreds of thousands of candles out to a bunch of drunken, stoned people. They're going to do stupid
as
stuff.
As an example, or like there are a few others where it's like, in hindsight, you could be like, "Oh, you were so dumb," but even in the moment, didn't anybody say, "Hey, bad idea"?
They're neglecting stuff. They're being stupid. As soon as they saw the crowd acting that way, the second it got wild and it was like dangerous wild, the guy in charge should have went out there and stage and said, if not him telling Kid Rock, whoever it is, to go out there and be like, "Hey guys, you need to chill down."
Yeah.
But if they don't do it, no, you need to override it. Be like, listen, we want everyone to have fun. Everyone needs to calm down. It's not safe. If you want the bands to keep performing, we all need to stop this.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that because doing that, it admits that it's not going so well.
But I agree with that for sure. But preemptively, there should have never been a cutback in security or a cutback in this or cutback in that.
It was a bunch of people that were just hanging out.
Do you think there's potential to say like,
Sounds
hey,
familiar.
If you guys don't,
there's not 400,000 people here.
if you guys don't chill out, we're gonna cut the cord, whatever. Then there could be retaliation for that.
Yeah,
you have to word it
backlash.
properly.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say it like that. That's like passive aggressive stuff. If you
But I
guys
don't
don't
think-
stop, I'm stopping this. You say like, hey, we want the show to keep going on. It's just getting a little dangerous for people. People are getting hurt. You got to humanize it. You got to bring up who's in the crowd around them getting hurt.
What do you think was the most people back here at one time for a
At
festival?
one time or throughout the whole day?
For a festival.
In one single moment, probably like, I don't know, probably like 1,000 in one moment.
What was that moment?
I think I felt it and realized it maybe like 3 times. And I know the first one was Saturday, July 2nd, 2016, when the Avances were playing. For DZ, the first time we did 2 days, it was crazy because the crowd was so big it went around the sound tent and kept going, and engulfed the sound tent.
Yeah.
And in order to get through, you had to run around the crowd. So that time, and there was a time again in 2017, and then honestly, this year at kind of early.
Oh yeah.
It's like 5 or 6 on
Oh, yeah.
Saturday. I was like, oh my
Oh yeah.
God.
Everyone flooded
They
in
kept
Saturday
coming in
afternoon.
Saturday,
Yeah.
By the time we started,
Yep.
there was like 250
Yep.
people here
Yep.
at like 12:30. I was like, oh my God,
Saturdays
this
was
is amazing.
awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was crazy how many people came.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's a product of, it's the last one. People knew that. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Do you don't want to skew negative, but do you have the lowest low? What's your lowest low at DZ?
Shoot,
Was it the
lowest low.
cancellation day?
I mean, there's been a lot. There's some pretty bad stuff. like the lowest lows have been things going wrong and personal stuff at the same
just
time.
the combination.
And you're just like, dude, where's the nearest gun? Like, for myself, nobody else, of course. I make it clean,
What the?
I'm kidding. Not that bad. Maybe we're the nearest pills. I don't know.
Oh Jesus, that's funny.
I mean,
it's not funny.
that's why I'm saying you can't. People shouldn't do this. It's so dangerous because it's so risky.
Yeah.
In 2015, and this is a lot of money to not to anybody, but to a lot of people. But it certainly was like millions of dollars to me at the time. But in one day, I lost $8,000. So it's like, and Eddie goes, and you still kept doing it.
I would have been done.
How did? Yeah.
Just
you don't
I
have
spent,
to elaborate.
Well, I just
but-
spent a lot of money to up the gear.
Yeah.
Because we did double stages. So I had to buy double of everything and up all this gear. And I went on the good faith that people would actually donate. And that's back when we only did donations. And not everybody did. And after paying bands and paying things back and borrowing money and paying things back, it was like, oh, shoot. I was sitting in a closet. I lived in a closet, by the way, to do this. I'm 25 years old, living in a closet, counting money. I'm like, I think I just lost everything I ever put into this. And then you know what I did? I go, well, next year's gonna be 2 days. That's what I did instead. And we
Let's do it bigger.
How many? You don't have to say who, but how many bands have you paid for DZ Fest?
It varies. It's usually the golden
Touring
rule.
bands, just give them
The golden rule of like the DIY community, which has always been that way. It's like you do what you can to provide for the bands, and then touring bands. Any band in tour, you always pay. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
When they played here, same thing. When a touring band would come through to do a session, I'll do it for free. There's always like you just do that, and it has really long-lasting, amazing outcomes. And the biggest one is they take whatever product that is and they bring it back to where they're from. And then they spread the word there, and then it comes back to you later on in life.
Yeah.
So it's worth it. It's just you got to be willing to play the long game.
Yeah.
Long game. And
Who's what band has traveled? Oh, I guess Seoul, South Korea.
Seoul, South Korea, Tokyo, Japan, Venice, Italy.
Who was from Tokyo?
The Molis. The Molis were from Tokyo, and then
Zero recollection.
Cables was from
No
Seoul.
offense.
Cables.
And I was very
Remember
upset
Cables.
about
Cables is
COVID.
awesome.
Not because it, obviously for obvious reasons it was bad, but
Cables
that
is supposed
year
to play.
a ton of international bands were going to play. I had, I think, 7 international bands were going to play DZ
Wow,
Fest that
that's
year.
crazy.
2 from Canada, 3 from Asia, and 2 from Europe.
Dang.
Wild.
And I was, and then because of COVID, it never happened again. Because even now, they still have restrictions.
Yeah, it's hard to
so
travel.
we almost went from like me begging friends in 2012 to international bands.
Yeah.
Like it was there, just couldn't happen. It's just a bummer. I was very
What
upset.
international bands?
But we had a lot of touring bands. The last like 4 years, a ton of touring bands.
Yeah.
This year alone, bands from New York, bands from Texas, bands from LA, bands from
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what was been the craziest thing you guys saw or had an experience to deal with. It could be from an attendee or something you saw on stage or
Just
backstage.
people like getting on stage. People acting like they have some sort of
Entitlement.
entitlement. Yeah,
Oh, that
terrible.
one guy. I know a guy. I almost killed that
Yeah.
guy. Oh,
Or
that
just,
guy had like
it didn't
5
happen
strikes.
too often, but it did happen here and there. Just dealing with like that drunk guy.
There's always a drunk guy.
It's happened a couple times, throughout the years.
Shockingly smooth though.
Well, yeah,
if you
because we
think
got
of what
10
could have
people
happened,
wrangling them.
but- yeah. Yeah.
People, not no specific them, just
Yeah.
the people that it's
Yeah.
happened to throughout the years. So those are always times that stick out.
I love how this podcast has just been you interviewing me, and then
I knew it would be that way.
Would we
That
have
was
it
great.
any other way?
Yeah.
Put a microphone in front of my
Yeah.
face. I'm going to start asking questions.
I got fatigue already too. It's been 2 hours.
Has he?
You're exhausted. Ed.
I am.
I could tell.
I am very tired.
Walk in the
You
park.
keep going.
2 hours
Yeah.
is
Ain't
that's
nothing.
that's just beginning.
Jesus.
So
I mean,
that
I-
stuff happens around hour
I do
3.
have one last question, but it's a little bit of a joke. You want it?
Sure. Did you go through all your questions? Did you take any out?
No, I asked them all, or some you answered without even me asking. But yeah, no, it's. Will there be a Wilshire reunion? Will Wilshire ever play in any capacity again? You don't know.
No.
Will you ever have a band that's you can be like, this is my band, not just like, oh, I'm the guitar player for this person's band.
Yeah, I want to work on some stuff this
When's the
winter.
last time you wrote a song?
I've been working on stuff for like the last couple of years here and there. I have some stuff. Funny enough, some ideas that I did demos of that we're using for audio for the trailers and stuff for like
Oh, that's
the,
cool.
that Danny made.
Yeah.
But I have stuff I want to do this winter because I realize it's probably just going to turn into where I write a bunch of stuff and then I have all these musicians I know play on it. So every song will have like 2-3 different guest musicians, from a singer to a violinist to and in doing this, I ended up meeting every type of musician musician ever at every level of skill. Like you name it. That one guy Joe who he made his own like instruments out of like shovels and tools. Like from that to Grammy Award winning people, like the whole spectrum is like, now I can work with them. So I think I might do something like that.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy playing in bands because it's a lot of work to be in a band. You got to put time into it. But if you are just the guitar player who plays in someone else's band where they write like Neighbors, perfect example.
Yeah.
Takes very little effort from me because he just writes everything, comes in with a song. After playing Wilshire's stuff, everything is so easy. Like everything is so easy.
Your first
I
album
set
was
the
a
bar
triple
way
album.
too high early, and it was like everything is so easy after this. All standard tuning. That's it. I don't have to tune anything. 4/4 signatures. So,
Because
it's
of
fun.
you, any song I listen to, I have to count to. Because of you, I have to play that game, and sometimes it's not a fun game to play.
No.
Do you do the same?
Yeah, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, it's been the best part. Has been being able to play in bands almost the whole way from 2010 to now. Like still in bands, like it's been fun to be able to do it. Some breaks here and there, but for the most part, playing, constantly putting out music, which is you have to like. That's another difference between other event promoter, creative directors. Chances are they're not playing in bands amongst their peers that they're actually having on stage, which is a big. I know what it's like to play to nobody at the Subterranean or Quenchers or the Empty Bottle. And there's three people where you go like, man, I think I owe them money for playing here.
What's the last show you've been to?
That I went to?
Yeah.
I went to Built to Spill last Thursday at the Thalia Hall. It was great.
We went and saw Franz Ferdinand last week.
Oh, cool.
That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Built to Spill is good.
I saw Rage the day after DZ Fest. It was terrible.
Wait
Well, the
a
show
minute.
was cool, but
Time
like
out.
it was.
You
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
You were at that
Monday?
show
Yeah,
The
Monday.
Monday?
where he busted himself?
Yeah, I was at that show where he got hurt. Yeah.
Where?
How
at?
have you not?
Where was it?
It was at the United Center.
Did Run the
didn't know
Jewels
this.
open up for him?
Yeah.
I had no idea
Yeah.
you went to that. How were you able to have the
Cat-
energy
it was,
to
it
go
wa-
to
it
that?
wasn't. It wasn't my idea. It was Kathy's, and
How
she like
amazing was
found
it, though?
cheap tickets.
Were you
so we just
dying?
like. I mean, we were tired. I mean, we were sitting, in
Oh,
like the 300 level. So I
that
just kind of
helps.
like chilled and like listened
so
to Rage
awesome.
Against the Machine. It was
So,
really cool.
Since 2019, my friend and I have been sitting on Rage tickets in St. Louis. It just keeps getting postponed and postponed. We have no idea when they're going to play in St. Louis.
They're not part of this tour.
It would have been,
Oh.
but for some reason they keep canceling St. Louis.
Well, did
Sorry.
they cancel the rest of their tour? Because I know he kept playing after he got hurt.
That I'm not sure of.
Yeah,
but
and
I think
then-
St. Louis was supposed to be like a couple weeks before
Hmm.
the Chicago show, and for whatever reason
Mm-hmm.
But
I hate when bands do that.
they're a bucket list band for me, Rage.
Yeah.
And for Run the Jewels to open up, like how awesome is that? But I'm
It was
so
cool.
jealous,
Yeah,
man. That's
it would have been cool
so
for on the
cool.
floor. General admission.
How was the
is cool.
crowd? Was the crowd insane?
Yeah, like on the downtown, you could see it, from
Yeah.
where you are, but you're sitting, so it's not like
so-
it's not rowdy.
Monday
Yeah.
shows are hard too.
It was Monday after. I was so tired,
Yeah,
dude.
for
I
it
was
to be
just
on
like,
Monday,
I was just
yeah.
like sitting there, just like leaning back, like,
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was
Dang.
cool.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Live music. It's back.
It's back.
It is, yeah. No, live. I went to a lot of shows and concerts last winter, and it was amazing to come.
Yeah.
Like so many. Everyone was so happy to do it and be out there and play. And yeah, it's
And
weird.
I saw Green Day just recently at the Metro.
You went to
Yeah,
that?
I went to that show too.
How the heck did you pull that off?
Kathy, it's Kathy every time.
Sherwin-Williams, is
No,
that
I mean-
connected?
No. The Green Day tickets were both. I was on like my computer and my phone. She had like her work
Okay.
phone and her regular phone,
Yeah.
and she wound up like
How much
getting
were the
in.
tickets?
I can't remember.
But was it
It
awesome?
was like six. They were like
Did
60
they just
bucks
crush?
maybe. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was
So
pretty
I've
sweet.
always
They
had
like
this-
They played stuff that they hadn't played since like 2001 and stuff.
That's
it was crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's that lineup or
Yeah,
set
it
list
was pretty
great.
cool. He was just asking people what they should play, and he would play it, and he like
That's
couldn't remember
amazing.
lyrics,
Yeah,
like because they were just
that's
like playing these songs. So
incredible.
he was just giving people the mic and stuff to like
That's
sing
so-
songs. It was pretty cool.
So I've had this thought of
I'm not like the biggest like I like Green Day, but I'm
no,
not.
but that's
you know.
that's an amazing
right.
event
It's
to
like
be at.
exactly.
Like,
It's an
that was
iconic band and an iconic venue,
I've had this,
and you could
thought-
tell they enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You know,
like they're a perfect example of a band that's big. They haven't played the Metro since who knows when.
right.
You know, like a band like that, or someone like I
Metallica
don't know,
did it
like
too.
like
when
Metallica
Metallica
or
did it.
Mumford and Sons, like a band that's big. Like, why not every now and again throw a Metro show on
Yeah.
your tour
Yeah.
itinerary?
A lot of them do when it comes. Well, they do it only for after stuff for festivals because they make all the money.
Yeah.
It's just like when the big actor does the indie flick after. It's the same
Yeah.
concept. They'll play the Metro. They're
It
not
should happen
making
more,
anything off
though.
that show.
No, it's just for
Nothing.
fun.
It's for fun.
But also, why not? You could make money.
They're not making.
There's
on the
got
show.
to be a way to. Well, I mean, they're
They're
not
too
making what they would
expensive.
make at Coachella.
They're
or
making like
something,
what
but
they'd pay like their team. Like that's
Yeah.
it. They just made so much money from Lollapalooza that they could
just
do that, and it's in the same city,
That's amazing.
and they're not doing anything. Their whole team sets it up. They just
Like,
go from one spot to the next.
As much as I, wouldn't have not have wanted to go into that show because I could care less for Green Day, but that's just such a cool.
Yeah.
Like that they gain points in my eyes.
Like, how
it's
much were those
really
tickets?
cool?
I don't remember. It was like $60 maybe.
Not
Yeah.
too bad for
Yeah.
what it
But
was.
yeah, Metallica doing that. How awesome is that?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
A lot of bands will do that. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to go to more live shows. We might go see. We haven't got the tickets yet, but Gorillaz
Ooh,
at the
nice.
United Center. It was one of the last shows we saw before the pandemic.
I recently
And they're
won
amazing.
Smashing Pumpkins tickets at the United Center too. I
What are you
know.
doing,
I know.
Ed?
I don't know
Like,
what's going on.
happening?
this
Are you young
spring.
again?
Yeah.
When's
Oh
that?
my god!
December or something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
These might be general admission too, which would be pretty cool, I guess, to be on the floor. I don't know how much I care about the Pumpkins in 2022,
Yeah.
but I was looking at his set list,
Still,
and it's,
though,
he
yeah.
plays the hits, so whatever.
You gotta.
Yeah.
You look
right.
at set lists before you go to shows.
Not often, but
Yeah.
like I did.
Do you?
I did for this because I would like to see if he's playing new. I don't know, like modern Smashing
I don't
Pumpkin songs.
understand.
You know,
Yeah.
he's got to play anything from 1994 or earlier, or else I'm not going to know what the hell he's playing.
I mean, that's
awesome.
what those bands do. They know.
Yeah.
They know the only reason why they have money is
Yeah.
because they gotta play the
Like
hits.
Franz Ferdinand was touring off of a greatest hits album, so that's
Oh, there you
literally
go.
all they did was play
Yeah.
hits, and it was just every song was just a banger after banger after banger. So much fun. Yeah, Gorillaz, man. I hope we go to that show, but it's also like a weekday, and it's like
I'm a fan of the weekend shows,
Yeah.
big time. As we're old folks now.
Whew, I'm yawning.
What do you? I have a couple questions. for you
land
guys.
this plane, Ed. Come on.
It's getting rougher and harder as we keep going.
Why is that?
on.
Ed?
We're
What
just
happened?
tired.
What happened? Why are you so tired?
You want to talk sports? Well, that
No, I don't think anything will help. I just need a nap at this point.
Ed, it was the biggest podcast
It's not
of our lives.
Yeah, it's not the topic that's making me tired. It's just the day before.
We had a
I mean,
fun party last night with some
Yeah.
friends.
This is the
We were
last
out late.
recording.
I'm telling you, dude, it's getting worse as the day goes on.
I don't feel too hot either, and I had a
You got work
rough
tomorrow?
sleep on that stupid air mattress. It was not a fun sleep.
Sleeping on an
It was
air
beautiful to
mattress.
wake up to that. Knowing that's my future, see those windows, that beautiful sunrise. It was awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like looking through my window. It's beautiful. 6:30.
Because the sun
coming
doesn't
through.
rise in Hickory Hills, right?
No, it's. I don't have. Do you know what my bedroom is now? It's the pasta carpet room. There's a north window. I don't get any light in there.
There's no light in
There's
that
no
room.
light in
won't
there.
be. That's beautiful. No light in a bedroom is a dream.
Not when you want to work in it, and it's a big enough room to work in it too.
We won't be able to make that pasta salad joke anymore.
Ever again, or not a lot of jokes. Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Who's hosting Christmas this year?
So relative.
This goes to a
but that's-
family.
I don't know.
No,
I
you
think
know
my brother.
that's-
I hope my brother. I'm not going.
Oh, that would be. He's got. We could play in his street. They're narrow, but
We
could play.
cannot play. They're so
We
narrow.
could-
Man,
He's got an alley.
I'm retired.
Alley. Well, no, we're playing football in the alley.
Play
It's
in the
happening.
basement. So we haven't talked about like this house. There's no more. The only thing that's still kind of normal, even if you look around, a lot of guitars missing, is this basement. But everything else is not how it
Yeah,
ever
going
was.
upstairs is super weird.
It's
Destroyed
really
it.
weird. Yeah.
And for context, this house, childhood home for me, my mom's childhood home, Matt and I, our grandfather built it. He bought the first room in 1951, then built the rest. So, yeah, it's weird. And so much, and like this basement has been my childhood basement way more than it's been DZ Records. In fact, for all three of us, it's only been DZ Records for 10 years, but there's another 22 years or 12 years. There's another 20 years. It was something else, which was just a place to hang out.
Yeah.
Dance Shack Music Club.
When did that get filled in so you couldn't go into the crawl space? Do you remember when that was open, or is it still
right
open?
there. No, it's right there.
It's still open?
So no, I filled it up with brick. Right there, there was a hole you can go in the
I
crawl
thought
space.
it wasn't.
No, that's right there.
Oh, okay.
But I filled it up with brick along and painted it like in 2012 when I tore down these walls. Yeah.
Did the wall go up to the pole?
The wall went like this,
Like,
up to the pole.
up to the
it
pole.
blocked that whole area and then
Yeah.
it went that way.
Which is crazy to think that was only.
It was just this L.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, it opened up completely when
That's
I
nuts.
took
What's the
that
first poster you put up?
down here?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably one of the Beatles or like White Stripes or something. It looks like something I had in my room, so I probably put it up down here. Oh, actually, the brand new one, because I got that in 2006, so probably that.
Standing in that corner, Ed, while you're standing
Yeah,
in that corner,
filming,
just like kind
filming.
of peeking at you. All right, he's
Yeah.
got that. He's got the snare, so I'll hit a cymbal.
Yeah,
Okay, he's
the
got
early
the cymbal. I'll hit the
days.
snare.
What did you guys enjoy filming?
I did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
did,
enjoyed filming.
except for when the band sucked.
Or when they just,
Can't
or
say
when
that.
it just took way too long.
I think that's what he
Like,
means by that.
did we need a
like they were being a
seventh
little,
take of that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
we did.
trust me, I honed in on the craft.
Yeah, that,
now
that
the
definitely
email
sucked.
says
Where
you
you're like,
get 2
dude, it's
takes.
fine. Like I'm telling you, it looks great.
I thought it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I resisted it at first, and I don't know why,
You resist everything at first.
I enjoyed it. It was a reason to hang out on Sunday.
but it was so much fun.
It was.
Yeah.
It was always fun when it was like a band that I knew that everyone would really like. Like I kind of knew beforehand.
Then
and I
people
would,
were fighting to film it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, you'd be like, what's the band? I'm like, I don't know. But I knew, and I'd be like, oh, they're gonna love it when
When
they film.
I loved when Bora Bora did, was it Colombian Car Chase?
Yeah.
Oh man, that fill that the drummer does, or I don't know if it's a fill, but that thing that he
Mm-hmm.
does was.
Or the
So awesome.
the evolution of it. It started off, the camera on the computer filming, and then like 2 shaky cameras, mismatched lenses and bodies and
That's
settings,
So funny.
all the way to the
So
sliders and the
funny.
gimbals. Just like
Yeah.
the lighting evolution, the camera, like the videos are so different now. They're so different.
The first
and we used to
time,
all sit in the middle and like aim up,
Yeah,
like even
yeah.
that.
It'd just be nostril shots, nostril and close up of hands.
I mean, you do what you got to do.
Lollygagger, first time coming in, I remember that being a blast.
Mm-hmm.
They did Sad Songs and Ex Friends,
Yeah.
and these
That was 7
mandibles,
years ago.
these are my man- 7 years
It was
ago.
June 2015.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
having Phil from the Bribes come in was so much fun.
He
It
was super
really
helpful.
cool to
He
connect with
sent
him.
a ton of bands my way. Yeah.
Super cool to connect with.
A lot of cool bands.
So many. I don't know. We going down. I feel like we're.
Well, we got Eddie's dying over here.
I am dying.
I'm dying here.
I don't know why.
I want to keep going.
awful.
But,
I'm fine
but
to
I
keep
only
going,
want it
but
to
we
keep
gotta-
going if it's entertaining. Are we,
we gotta-
entertaining people anymore?
I don't know. I just talk forever, and I don't.
When
know.
I
don't care
asked you what
happens.
did you not accomplish, your answer was incorrect. By the way,
Wait, what?
you know what you didn't
What'd you say?
accomplish. You know what you
Oh,
didn't
the
accomplish.
tree.
Honestly, how close was that ever coming to be, or was it just a thought?
It was a thought, but then when I knew that so a lot of ideas happen, but the technology and the connections, the ability has to meet with it. You got to
Yeah.
plant the seed, right?
Yeah.
That's what all of DZ Fest ever was. But this idea, I knew I could do it. I just was waiting to have the equipment. And I finally have the equipment, not the band.
Could you do it today?
But
or
now,
not today,
the
but
tree, all that's too unstable. Like it's too unstable. Like
the
all
tree
that
itself.
No, I was going to use the platforms and everything. Now you can't use any of them. Like none of them. That fell
That would've
apart
been
along
nuts.
with it took too long to get
Man,
the
that
gear
would've
and
been
the technology to do it.
Yeah.
But like wanting to have a 2-day music festival with 40 bands and art tent and film everything, that idea was there in like 2014. I just didn't have the gear, and it takes time to get that. You gotta at least think that way, otherwise it can never happen. So but now and then that's why 2016 to 2022 are kind of a blur to a lot of people. You're not the first people to say that.
Yeah.
It's because the formula got so nailed in, and then everything that got added was fine-tuned stuff, like a better tent for the art tent, a more clean-cut layout for the
Like the
stage,
last-
simple stuff like that.
Like maybe 4 fests. I definitely remember like people afterwards asking, "Oh, how was the fest? How was it this year?" And just thinking like, it was easy.
Yeah.
Other than it being physical, like it's such a well-oiled machine at this point.
Very well oiled.
Everyone knows their roles.
Oh, by this year, I didn't
and then
tell.
this year was.
I mean, the last couple years I haven't had to say anything, but this year I don't think I said one word to anybody what they should or shouldn't do.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk to you guys. Like, they know. I don't have to say anything. I need to record and make sure I'm good with Yaz and Trevor and like Ian and whoever's on. Like, that's it. Like,
former
nothing
MVP
else.
Ian.
Former MVP.
Former MVP. Ian.
How do you feel not ever winning an MVP? Do you feel like Karl Malone?
I
or
feel like
Charles Barkley not
I
getting
feel
the
like,
chip?
you know, MJ when he didn't win it in, you know, 90, what was that, 95 or
98.
6 or something? Whatever year he didn't
Any
win
year
it.
he didn't make it
93.
between
Yeah.
86 and
No.
1998.
I don't care. I know what I
Well,
had to
you
do.
should
I don't care. I know what it took.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. I don't think it's gonna, because it's been so busy. I don't think it's gonna hit until it's like October. I'm sitting in my living room in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at, because I have so much DZ everything, just like everywhere. Just looking at it like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
I can't go look. Like, I've been sitting out every night looking at the backyard, just sitting there, like taking it in. Like, this is gone. Like when the DZ, when we took that down, that's a whole thing. That's very hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as like a fest to explain, even though that's hard to explain. That was like its own thing.
Yeah.
But taking that down, this house, the basement, it's just been weird. It's gonna get really weird taking this stuff out, you know. But it certainly got used well. This whole place,
If I come to you with podcast idea, will you?
like your own
Matt,
podcast?
Matt's
Can I-
unretiring. Wow.
Can I
like MJ.
Can I come over every Monday or Tuesday or whatever and edit podcasts and and we could watch some shitty show?
So much fun.
No, that was a serious question.
What? What do you mean?
Basically, I want to podcast again, but I don't want to do any of the work. So I'm asking you to do all the work, and I'll just
It's not happening.
please, Benjamin.
No.
I
First of all,
need
it's
you.
not that much work if you don't do
You
any
need a
editing.
producer. Yeah.
If you don't edit,
So if you don't do video
don't
and
do
you
video.
don't do edit, it's actually not hard. You do your Zoom with 2 little mics.
I learned that
Whatever you
way
put it in,
too
like
late.
this. I'm not editing anything. I don't
Yeah.
edit. I just synchronize the video and the audio, drop the watermark. Don't do a watermark, takes forever to render. But if you do that, and then
What's a watermark?
the little logo in the corner,
Oh, why does that take forever to render?
because it's a
every frame
it's a
needs
file that has to go to every frame. It's 30 frames per
yeah.
second times how many minutes, so it's
Yeah.
like it takes forever.
It. Yeah.
But it could help it. People can't rip off your video, and it's promo. It's branding. You know,
Yeah.
it's smart thing to do.
Corporate DZ Fest.
Corporate
Got it.
DZ first. I'm so bad at being corporate. It's great.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna unretire. I'm gonna be Jordan on the Wizards real soon. I can't wait. I want to. I really do want to. I've got a lot of audio of me and Hugo. Hugo and I. Sorry.
You're gonna have Hugo on the podcast.
I want it to be the Hugo show.
Oh
Are you
my
serious?
goodness.
He doesn't know about this.
Does he consent? Is he
No,
consenting?
but I
don't know.
have an idea of like all this audio I have of him and just make it.
You're gonna make him famous, and then be that. He's gonna be that poor
Dude,
kid that
have you
got
ever-
famous too young.
Have you
and
ever
he's
seen
gonna-
the Ninja Kids on YouTube?
No.
Dude, well, you don't have kids, so you don't get it, but they got like a palatial estate in like Utah just from these kids making YouTube videos.
So you're gonna exploit your beautiful son?
Heck yeah.
Wow.
I'm not making money doing what I do now, so. No, I do. I would love to do it again, but I don't have the. I never had what you had as far as production of it goes. I hated that part of doing a podcast. I hated it so much.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be into that stuff. I like
Yeah.
seeing how does something go for this to that. Like,
Yeah.
how do you make it happen? It's fascinating. The insides of things. I have a question. Was there ever a turning point for either of you guys with DZ anything? For when it was just like this? I know it's hard because we're in it. It's hard to see it. Maybe a little bit less for you because you weren't here all the time. You were moved, a little bit older, so you have a different perspective. But when it went from like, oh, this thing we just do with our friends, family, it's chill. It's kind of serious, but like, it's just like this thing we do at the old home to like, oh shoot,
Like when
Like
we
people-
have to stop defending it to
I would,
our.
yeah.
that or just like it could be a little thing where someone completely outside of your bubble brings it up like, oh, people know.
That's why I
about
always say DZ Fast 4. It's the turning point.
it.
2015.
Okay,
You know,
I see.
and then the next year we went to 2 days, but
Yeah,
also,
that-
but it was
yeah, for
all
sure.
the stuff in between was what we're doing intimate evenings every month and the comedy shows every month. It was clearly
shows,
a turn.
yeah.
People knew that it wasn't just a party anymore.
Yeah.
Like it was DZ Records putting on an event, and you go there to go to this event. You're not there to like be like it's not just like a friend's party or
Definitely
Right.
around that era, but at the same time, I still have to.
You still have to defend this?
Heck yeah,
Still?
yeah. I'm gonna have to defend what I'm doing right now in
Yeah,
about
right.
an hour.
Still? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Definitely not as much, but yeah, it was definitely around that time
it's
where
so
it was like,
bizarre
okay,
to
this
have
is
to-
real.
Like, my perspective of it, just hearing, like, the dean of a university ask me about it, to
Yeah,
have
it's
validity
weird.
for, like, my teaching and stuff, to
Yeah.
have Red Bull reach out and ask
Yeah.
about, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, prove what? Like,
What was the Red Bull dude's name? He was cool.
Timmy Red Bulls?
Timmy Red.
Timmy Red Bull.
Bulls.
Red Bull.
Oh man, that's good.
They did so well today in Formula 1, 1, 2, and fastest lap. Oh, they're killing it.
Yeah. What's everyone's fascination with Formula One all of a sudden?
Ben
well,
loves
Netflix.
it.
Netflix?
Because they have
What
Drive
did
to
Netflix
Survive.
have?
It's a show that
No
that
idea
is
what
like
you're talking about.
it's like a documentary about it. They filmed the whole season.
Oh.
It's on Netflix.
It's like Hard Knocks, but for racing.
Just watch it.
think so.
It's
Yeah.
pretty enticing.
But I think it's like from the season prior.
yeah. So like right now they're filming it. So next March they'll have
But it is
last season.
watching racing fun.
Well, is watching basketball fun?
I know. As I was thinking it, I
Is
knew it was a
watching golf
dumb
fun?
question.
Is watching
But I-
baseball fun?
But I attempted NASCAR before,
It's a
and it
sport.
was just like
People
ah.
You
like sports
attended
for
a
different
NASCAR
reasons.
event? That's pretty cool.
No, I didn't attend. I attempted. Like,
Oh, you
watching.
attempted.
I respect it tremendously. I know
NASCAR.
that racing,
Mm-hmm.
auto racing, you have to be skilled. Like,
It's
it
the most
is a
insane
sport.
thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's nuts.
They'll lose about 8 to 10 pounds per race.
Yeah,
In an hour and
Yeah.
40 minutes.
it's nuts.
Hour and a half, 10 pounds. And
Yeah.
These guys are small already. They're like
Yeah.
jockeys, like horse jockeys.
Yeah, yeah.
Just from the G-force, from the muscle strength to fight it is burning calories. And like it's insane. Like, how do you lose that much weight that
That's
fast?
cool.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Over under 5 wins for the Bears.
Under.
Are you pounding the under? Or are you just saying under?
Well, I think they're actually like set at like 4.5.
Are they? Oh, I
think
thought they were
so.
like 6 or so. I
I
thought it
don't
was
think so.
undercutting
I think
them.
it's like 4.5. I don't think they're going to be good.
They're gonna suck.
Yeah.
Will Cole Kmet win me money? I mean, will Cole Kmet be good this year?
Sheesh. I don't know, man. Maybe by lack of options.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many times I bet on Cole Kmet.
I don't know
last
why you
year.
would do that.
I don't know why either, and not a single time did he pay out
Yeah,
for me.
no.
Thanks, Cole.
No. I'd wait.
Did you-
I'd hold off on your Cole Kmet stock for now.
Favorite food from DZ Fest?
Oh,
Ooh.
We had a lot of food.
well, so
Always tacos,
so
I think.
there was
No matter who they're coming from.
there's strategy to that.
Man, you're always touching me.
Every year, my red cooler has been to every DZ Fest. My red cooler has been to every minute of every DZ Fest. For
I
whatever
say
that's
coming to
worth.
the next one.
But we'll see.
No coolers
but-
allowed.
But yeah, right. No blades, no bows. These weapons here.
Oh God.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you.
I can't.
Anyway, inside that red cooler was strategy. Always have beef jerky, some sort of protein. Always have lemon water, and always have fruit. So I always
It's
had
true.
that.
Those are good
Every
things to have
DZ
for
Fest.
Fest.
And then I'd throw like a cookie or something. But there was always treats anyway. Someone always had
Yeah.
donuts or
Yeah.
whatever. But or like protein balls I'd bring too. So that was my favorite food because it would keep me going.
Yeah.
But then don't overdo it on like the don't like get a giant burrito or something. You don't want to get bogged down. You know, you have to strategically plan. That's why those bowls, the
Oh, yeah. Those
Poke
poke bowls this year were on point.
I had one every day for
Huge.
lunch.
Forgot about those. Those were
Huge.
great.
Had one
They were
each day for lunch.
refreshing.
Yeah.
You didn't
I started off
feel-
with that, and then
Yeah.
my dinner was how much with how many calories I was burning. I could put anything in my body; it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
like what I learned about DZ Fest. The most underrated thing is how draining and how much exercise it is to just think, to use your head, to use your
Yeah.
brain. It's
Yeah.
when you hear
Mentally
like
exhausting.
like master chess players losing like 5 pounds in like a match just from thinking. You're like the brain burns. It takes a lot of calories.
Yeah.
And DZ Fest is a lot of thinking, and then it's very physical. So it's like doubling down, and that's why Monday is so miserable. It's a type of exertion most people never really do.
Mental and physical fatigue.
Yeah.
To the high,
Yeah.
and then
Heck
like
yeah.
this also like emotional, spiritual fatigue too, because you're like, it's very philosophical. Like, is this worth it? Like, so much turmoil. Like, am I doing? Is this right? Did I mess up? Like, that's me at least. I'm just,
No, I feel you. I
it's
definitely get you.
draining. Yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't make sense that it was 10 years. It went by so fast. All of it. So much work looking back on it, but now it's taken on its own beast. You know, it's its own thing.
I never did get a s'mores bagel from Totally Cashed. I really wanted one.
That was probably the biggest come up in food ever. Totally cashed. Those
And they
bagels
were
were
so
Those
good. Did
bagels
you ever
were
get his
good.
shoe back? Did Zach ever give him his shoe back? What
talk
happened
off
with
mic.
that? Oh, come on.
Can't ruin. What if he listens? You can't ruin the fun.
People want to know.
There's just a running joke of the shoe. Oh boy.
I'll say one thing.
Say it.
The shoe exists.
What?
It's still somewhere.
What? Does he know this? I'm here to narc,
He's gonna
man. He
find
needs
out.
a
He's gonna
shoe.
find
Yeah.
out. He's gonna find out.
All right, can we end this?
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
Ed's dying,
Yeah.
That's death.
I need to go take
Matt's
a nap.
gonna get
I need a
grounded.
nap.
and I'm here.
Lucky.
Yeah.
What are we at? What time are we at?
Almost 5.
It's a great photo. So almost 3 hours. Almost 3 hours. Yeah, let's end it.
You want to talk about basketball?
Yeah. I didn't need to go to
I
sleep.
so bad
I
want to
literally
talk
need
about
I
basketball.
literally need to just go take a nap, I think, at this point.
He's,
okay, though.
we had a rough one.
Yeah.
Well,
It's worth it.
an ending. Thank you both for everything you did. You made it happen.
Do you want me to sign
It was
us off?
so much fun.
It
I
was a lot-
wouldn't take it any of it back.
No,
Just
I
wanna
wouldn't
say
either.
that.
For how crazy it was, hammers hitting you in the head, broken fingers, it doesn't matter.
It was
What
so
would
much
you have
fun.
done differently? That's a good
What would I have
question.
done differently? There's definitely some things I would have done differently, but you don't know unless you try. You got to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
So, nothing actually, because I only would be and know what I know now by let's spend $300 on Jones sodas and see how that goes. You know, you don't know unless
Hey,
you
those
try.
are cool.
They are. I still have some.
Yeah, I still have one too.
But yeah, it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
I forgot about the
Everything
Jones
worked out the
sodas.
way it was supposed to.
That's so funny. Do you remember too? You had an idea of making a mist tent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I
That never
forgot
happened,
about
though,
the
did it?
mist
Because that would
tent.
have been a lot of water.
Logistical nightmare.
The ground got soaked in mud everywhere.
That would have
Like,
been awesome.
yeah.
No.
You gotta try some stuff. But some good come ups were like the little volunteer section with like the porta potty. That was great. Always
Huge.
clean. It's in the shade, so it's not
Huge.
stinky.
That
It's not
was
as hot. It's a
huge.
good place to get a break.
Yeah,
Little things like that
Yeah.
are great.
definitely.
The border around the sound tent. That was a good move.
The border
That was a
around the
good idea,
sound
yeah.
tent, and honestly, the video tent next to the sound tent with the border this year saved my life. 0 people came up and bothered me. 0. They couldn't get to me. I hid in there.
That's so funny.
It's just distracting. It's amazing. I respect it and I appreciate it, but man, it's distracting when you're trying to focus and people want to talk to you. You know, you gotta.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
All right, Matt, sign us off.
Sign us off, Matt. We all did it.
No blades.
We did it.
No bows.
Teamwork.
Leave your
It took
weapons
a
here.
village. It really took a lot of people to make it work.
Thank you,
Did it.
Benjamin.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you most of
You-
all. Right.
You were able to create all of all the things that we wanted to do with that we could never do. You did them, and if you didn't, then we wouldn't have experienced them. So, thank you.
My back hurts.
Oh God. Cut it. Cut the mic. That's it.
Thank you, Matt. That was very kind of you, and you're welcome. I also enjoyed it too. Don't forget that. I am very grateful for it because of people like you and Eddie and another 100 people I can name. I selfishly have been given a life that's very hard to explain. Very unique experiences. Came with a lot of struggle and work, but because of DZ Fest, which means people like you guys making it happen, I get to do a lot of really wonderful things that I'm very much aware of, grateful for every day.
Yeah.
Every time something's weird during the week, and I go, well, everyone else is at the office, and I'm doing this, and it's like Wednesday at 9, so I'm good. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Nothing can get bad because of how fortunate my life has gotten to
Yeah.
become because of everyone around. So
Yeah.
it goes both ways. It's not just like, yeah,
All right, Ben.
It's gonna be a good future.
I hope so.
I
Yeah,
hope,
hope so too.
I hope so.
Heck yeah.
Ed's
Yeah.
gonna get a nap.
That's the future I look forward to.
Matt won't be in trouble.
I'm gonna pick up pizza on the way home.
Ooh.
I want pizza so bad, but I had it 2 days in a row.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, right.
I had.
I got red,
Caesars
Matt. If you
earlier
cut me
today.
open, red
Yikes.
sauce would come out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, not
Thoughts
blood.
on Little Caesars?
Not the best.
You ever get the
pizza.
thin crust? It's
Yeah.
actually better.
Underrated.
Yeah.
So
very
I'd
good.
say time and place for it. You know, just like Bluetooth headphones, time and place.
Good call.
I'm like, yeah.
You send us off,
yeah,
Matt.
I don't know. I'm done.
That's it. I'm done. This is such an anticlimactic episode because we're just like, how do you talk about something we've all just been talking about for the 10 years anyway?
Yeah, right.
This was fun.
And we did a lot of this talk in the for the documentary, you know. So it's a lot of it's like,
a lot of rehash.
Yeah,
It's hard to
yeah.
sound fresh.
yeah,
Thank you for making this as early as we did because if we started this at 6, it'd be like 9, and I'd be.
There's a
You'd be
yeah.
in
I was
real-
like,
you'd
we
be in
should,
real
crappy
trouble.
pit. I'd be looking like you right now.
we should probably do it early. All right. Well, thanks, guys. We did it.
Later.
Ciao, everybody. Thanks for listening.